게임을 할 때는 그래도 그러니까 서로 부딪히는 번이 있으니까 그래도 싫은 소리 하고 하는데 생활적인 부분에서는 항상 그러니까 저랑 팀장이 제일 나이가 많거든요. 생활적인 부분에서 항상 동생들한테 싫은 소리 한 번도 안 하고 그냥 다 항상 좋게 풀어가는 게 장점이지 않나 생각해요.
저희 팀이 스타크래프트 출신 선수들이 게임을 그만두고 새로운 히어로즈 스톰을 시작해서 맨 밑에서부터 올라온 거잖아요. 그래서 제일 좋은 것 같아요.
나 뭐 형으로서 귀찮은 거 동생들한테 떠밀지 않고 다 같이 해주는 것 같고 되게 좋은 팀장인 것 같습니다.
The Heroes of the Storm World Championship is brought to you in part by Intel, Windows 10, T-Mobile, and MasterCard.
Alrighty guys, welcome back here to the Heroes of the Storm World Championship at BlizzCon 2015. My name is Solid Dick and I'm joined here at the desk with Babel and Todd, and guys, the best for last, right? The final game of the night.
Definitely. It is going to be an exciting series. Braveheart, they just pulled a rabbit out of a magical hat. We did not see that coming, and we are just really excited to see how they're going to face up against DK.
They really brought it today. Again, I was one of the guests that were surprised by their performance earlier. Going up against DK, though, what can we say about DK other than they were going into this tournament as the favorites, got upset previously in opening week, and they're looking to try and, I guess, prove themselves here, leading up to potentially their next matches if they were to win here.
Yeah, I mean, these are the two teams that defeated Templestorm. Opening week, it was DK that knocked Templestorm down into the lower bracket, and Braveheart, a team that is formed of a combination of Edward Gaming and Braveheart. The best of those two teams merged together. In just a few weeks practice as that super team, they were able to defeat them. So honestly, it's a really cool story, and this is also quite the rivalry when it comes to, I mean, you look at North America and Europe, there's a huge rivalry there, and it's the same exact situation for Korea and China. These teams, they play against each other a lot, and they want blood.
It's crazy to think that actually they've been playing together for this short a time. Like technically they're not even like a team, they're players from two teams, and they beat the longest standing team in Templestorm in their previous match.
Yeah, definitely. And also, we have to remember that within one short week, YL as well as Braveheart, they traded tactics. You could see some of the draft similarities there. And YL just got eliminated from this World Championship. Braveheart will have to carry on the heavy burden of continuing China's dreams.
Yeah, they are the last standing team of that region, and well, you know, they're ready here to prove themselves. But DK is a team that, although last week they might have fallen down to the lower bracket, they've really shown their dominance when it comes to team fight capability. They're a team that has a variety of compositions. They're the only team that has played Raynor vastly successfully in this tournament, and I'm just super excited to see how these two teams draft against each other. We've already seen teams really mixing things up from last week and opening week to what we've seen them draft this week.
I'm glad that you're casting actually Babel, because finally maybe we can get some of these Chinese names pronounced properly.
Oh, yes, yes, definitely. The funny thing here is that actually, I think Braveheart's names are actually pretty English sounding. It's YL that has got, you know, Gui Ji as well as Liang. And they are really interesting names to hear you guys pronounce.
You make me feel so bad about my pronunciation. Like,
No, you
when you say
should,
it properly,
man.
I'm just like, man.
You only say Guiji. It's like some kind of version of Luigi.
Someday I'll get it right. Someday I'll get it right.
Yeah,
But
I can give you personal training and coaching.
we're gonna do that.
We will do that. 2 tacos up for steak?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So thinking about this matchup, I mean, obviously there's a bit of a rivalry, but DK coming to this tournament, kind of the favorites. Do you think that Braveheart can do it? They just beat Templestorm. I mean, they're looking so strong, especially in comparison to last week.
Well, what can I say? Braveheart generally is a team that we all do not know what to expect from. And this is a team that played in the opening week, and the vast difference in the skill level within this 1 week is really surprising. The draft is also very different, and I think that at this point in time, you just cannot expect anything moving forward, Jake.
I think after DK's previous disappointments where they lost, a lot of people have been counting them out. So now it's just a perfect opportunity here for them to prove that they're still the top contender here in this tournament. And again, if they were to win here against Braveheart, they would be facing Cloud9 in the semifinals, and that'd be a great match. But first, they need to go through their Chinese opponents here.
Well, let's find out who will be the victors. I believe we're ready to roll, so Anna, take it away.
Happy to do so, guys. Thank you so much. I am so pleased to introduce you to our next two teams. We are going to see some more epic gameplay right now. Are you guys ready? You are the few and the proud who have stayed here at BlizzCon all day, and I am proud of you. Yes. All right, now, from China, we have a super team that is here to prove that you don't have to practice for a long time to be really, really good together. Your blue team is Braveheart. Now, this is the first time you will have seen our red team today. They come from a long legacy of pro gaming prowess in Korea. They told us that their only rivals were in Korea and they would have no trouble with anyone here, but then they were knocked into this lower bracket. So they've got a lot to prove. Your red team is Team DK. Do you guys have a favorite? Who is it? Well, keep that cheering loud as our commentators take it away.
BlizzCon 2015, we're here with our final game of the night, and you know what? I couldn't ask for more. DK versus Braveheart. What do we know about these two teams, Babel?
Well, it is going to be a standard David versus Goliath situation. We've got two very, very different teams. DK, they just got a rude awakening last week, and I think that they definitely do not know what to expect from Braveheart. They have a lot of teams preparation for different teams, but for Braveheart, we don't know how they're going to react. And on the other hand, Braveheart, like I said, this is the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. You just take the best components, you put them together, and bam, you get Braveheart. So this will be a very exciting thing. I mean, this is a very interesting series at the end of the day.
We know a lot more about DK than we do about Braveheart, and it seems like they have a lot of star power. You know, some of these players, SC, for example, is a fantastic warrior at the front. He did shine in a lot of these games in the past that we've seen. Then you have Sniper, the ultimate flex on the team. So in terms of, if you look at the lineup of DK, all of these players, they really did shine through a lot of their games in the past, and we're really starting to be able to narrow them down in a lot of these drafts to be able to play against like 1 to 2 heroes that they really favor and that they will be able to do well a lot of the time.
I mean, 4 StarCraft pro gamers, a GSL Codes champion here, all in one team, with Jaehoon leading the charge. That's a devastatingly strong roster. But you know what? I believe we're ready to go for the first draft of this Best of 3 series. So let's jump on into it, and we're going to be on Garden of Terror for game number 1.
Wow, we've seen this before from Team DK. They pulled this Battleground out against Na'Vi. They scored a victory here, so this will be interesting to see. And yes, it's actually Team DK who picked this Battleground. Tyrael getting instant first ban is what I like to see. This guy has got a really good win rate from the opening week.
I mean, we talked about this at the start of the day, the power of sanctification, the way teams are just really learning how to utilize that, so no surprise there. But Tom, Sylvanas, that's quite the interesting ban.
Yeah, Sylvanas has had an incredible rise in popularity in a lot of these drafts, and usually she's a pick. So I guess it seems like she's been upgraded to a ban now. She's definitely made it to the top of the most wanted, or rather even most banned, because she gets banned here very early, and that's an unusual ban here that we see on the Sylvanas.
Yeah, both teams actually run Sylvanas a lot. Braveheart ran it twice, DK ran it thrice, so it is a very interesting ban. But Jaina is the standard first pick material for Braveheart. A lot of teams love the Jaina a lot, and it's no wonder because she just has got a burst potential. and that is very scary to deal with.
We usually see Sylvanas come out when somebody has something like an Uther or a composition that's really hard to counter and win a team fight against, and sometimes maybe even an Illidan to try and properly blow him up. So maybe now that Sylvanas is gone down the line, we could be seeing him come out, and we see Uther already being picked here.
Well, with Jaina, the big assassin being taken, grab the big support, and ooh, the Lost Vikings! What?
Whoa, Lost Vikings! This is something completely unexpected, and I do believe that some teams, they did ban out the Lost Vikings in the opening week, but here we have 3 heroes instead of 1, and their primary abilities is just spin the wind, jump, and North Force. Very, very standard stuff. But what's interesting is the longbow raid that does a lot of damage and play again, which brings them all back.
So yeah, those 2 heroics play again. Longboat raid. You can see the longboat raid here does massive damage. Of course, all 3 Vikings need to be in a close proximity. They hop in the boat together and they just tear through. Your opponent also has its own health bar. But if you do manage to destroy the boat, they become vulnerable. They're stunned for a couple seconds there, and you can blow up the Vikings, which do have a quite small health pool.
Yeah, the true power of the Lost Vikings is going to be in that soaking capability where you can spread them out across multiple lanes, and you make sure that you don't miss a single minion here in terms of experience. And I mean, Team DK, they're a bunch of StarCraft players. Who better than them to multitask and spread those Vikings out, keep them alive, and soak every single bit of experience there is to soak.
And don't forget that you can throw a single Viking into a Garden Terror, right? You pick up a Plant Terror, throw just Eric, Balog, or Olaf into the driver's seat, if you will.
Wow, 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 wow. Abathur getting picked up here. This is interesting because Abathur really works very well, and you have the Symbiote Toxicness, but primarily Symbiote will unlock even more abilities of Abathur once he provides that support onto a target. There's also the fact that the Toxicness will be able to provide vision and is really a pain to deal with in a battleground like Garden of Terror.
All the pocket picks here coming out at once on Garden of Terror between these 2 teams.
I mean, both very strong just for that soak, and in a lot of ways, Abathur is a response to Lost Vikings, as it could be a targeted ban in the second ban phase. But what else will they go with this? Illidan has seen a lot of power with Abathur, and they're going for exactly, oh no, Muradin. I saw the horn, I thought it was a blade. I got so excited.
Yeah, I really like Muradin. It's a very consistent tier 1 hero that's getting picked up here. Jaina Uther Muradin, again, will be decided, or rather will be picked up by either teams in the first picking phase. Now also, the Lost Vikings, this would unlock potentials for Illidan. I think that it's going to be possible because of the mercenary camp approach that this Battleground has. And the numbers do win war, but they ban out Illidan themselves because of the Abathur pick from Braveheart.
If you look at the draft so far from Braveheart, it could have been worrying here on Illidan. You know, there is a Muradin that's like a great tank at the front, Abathur that's going to be giving him attack speed, some extra damage, and then Jaina just all-around solid damage dealer. So I can't really blame them here for going for this ban.
I think the plan originally was to get Abathur, Lost Vikings, and Illidan, but since Abathur was kind of snatched away by Braveheart, this will have to change. Kel'Thas also being addressed here, so that means that you will have to deal with other forms of range damage dealer. We may see a Reyna, we may see a Vala, and this is where they will decide.
Now, DK, they really haven't shown a whole lot about their composition. Lost Vikings, great for soak, and they're good in team fights, good for the objective. Uther works in any composition whatsoever, so they have that to their advantage. They really have any kind of direction they can go from this point, and they have 3 more picks remaining. Sonya's a hero that's seen a lot of popularity, but no, they're going to stay safe, stay vanilla, and go with Vala.
Yeah, Vala is vanilla.
It rhymes.
Nicely put there. Also, Vala, just to say, it's a very consistent hero being picked up in Asia. This is consistent with the Chinese teams, with the Taiwanese team, as well as even with the Korean teams. Whereas in the eyes of Na'Vi, it is not as good from the Europe region. But we have the Space Cowboy Raynors in town today, and this guy, he is going to provide so much more damage as well as utility.
I mean, we saw Raynor played by them versus Tempo Storm in opening week. And this was a really cool build where they're really speccing into the snipe, picking up Bullseye, and and double barrel shotgun. So every single time Zeratul was blinking in, they were just blowing him up. And the stun, 2-second stun, 1.5 seconds, was really just so strong and disallowing Zeratul from ever getting away.
Yeah, the fact that there is an Uther and that these compositions, they've already, kind of gone weird from the very start with Lost Vikings on one side and Abathur on the other, it seems like you feel definitely a lot safer here as Raynor, looking at both drafts, at least so far. So it's just a great pickup altogether, and could do really well, especially if they don't necessarily fall behind at any point, I think.
Well, Brightwing and Zeratul. This is a very weird composition. Like I say, Braveheart, you just don't know what to expect from them. The first 3 picks definitely make sense, but Brightwing as well as Zeratul, Jay, what's your take on this?
Well, let's break it down. I mean, Brightwing also has global presence. So if you have Abathur and you have Brightwing, you can immediately handle the split soak that exists from Vikings. With Vikings, their split soak, it's now negligible. Zeratul is the best hero in the game at hunting down Vikings. You can't see them on your minimap. If you just have Eric alone in one lane, Zeratul...
Stitches wants to play!
The slam that devoured Gore's Putrid Bile. He has all the filth in Heroes of the Storm in one nice package.
I was just thinking which warrior. I was like, yeah, but Johanna is maybe likely here. But then Stitches gets picked up. A crazy lineup here from our Korean team.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane. And
It's going to be a full tank build here, most certainly.
It has to be. Let's look at Stitches. He has the Hook Slam and Devour. Devour basically allows him to heal back a percentage of his HP. Putrid Bile sets up a very good zoning ability. Gorge also disables one target. But the thing about Stitches is that as a solo warrior, it's tricky. They may not have enough crowd control.
What an interesting composition from both of these teams. Easily one of the most unique matches of the entire tournament so far. Possibly the most unique, because seeing Lost Vikings and Stitches on one team creates a really cool, interesting dynamic, because if you manage to land a big hook, you pull them in, what are the Lost Vikings good for? You have 3 bodies to body block with. It's akin to the way that pandas can work if you can pick up Panda Pals, Storm, Earth, and Fire with Chen, and just get those big bodies in the body block. Lost Vikings, once you have Norse Force, you can really just kind of heal, sustain through a fair amount of damage, get out of there with go, go, go the best you can, and the damage will be dealt at that point.
Stitches is actually a hero that's not very often picked currently, so a lot of people, they kind of forgot how to play against it as well. You underestimate him 1 or 2 times, you get hooked, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, because you're going to be dying, leave your team to be fighting to try and collect those seeds, and yeah, it's going to be tough. So they're going to have to be on point here, our Chinese team, and remember how strong Stitches can be.
Yes, definitely. I would say that looking at Braveheart's lineup, I'm not too worried. This team composition can actually dive quite a fair bit. They have the Brightwing, they have the Zeratul as well, so this will be a very interesting match. Stitches will be able to put 1 target over, but how Braveheart reacts is going to be key.
Well, now that we've seen these 2 crazy drafts, we want to know what you guys think and who will advance in this matchup. Head on over to Twitter and use the hashtag HeroesWC and tweet at eSportsHero with the respective team name that you think will win. On that note, Todd, thanks for joining us. We'll see you after the game, and I think we're ready to go for the first matchup. Are you guys ready to see some 6 Stitches action?
I am, and Stitches wants to play. That just basically will summarize this battleground. Garden of Terror, we're going to see some happy little trees as well.
Alrighty, well, getting on into game number 1 between Braveheart and Team DK. We have Braveheart on the blue side, and that's going to be Val playing as Jaina, Exia on after Gemini playing as Brightwing. Kerridiar going to be playing Muradin in M on Zeratul. On the red side, Team DK. From Korea, we have Crazy Moving playing Rainer. Jaehoon going to be on Uther. Noblesse playing Vala. SCSC on Stitches, and Sniper on the Lost Vikings.
Oh yeah, Lost Vikings is just so important in this battleground. You know, basically, you want to soak as much experience as possible. Lost Vikings will have that, and unlike the Vikings bribery that the Lost Vikings will provide as well, Abathur against Lost Vikings, this is a battle of the specialists. And don't forget that Sniper, he is a GSL champion before on StarCraft, so this will be the epitome of a micro game coming out from Sniper.
So this is one of the big things that Lost Vikings give you the option to do. You spread them out. Oh, gotta be careful with Eric here, but DK Sniper, he's well aware of Zeratul, but they have 4 members in the top lane, Vikings soaking the other lane. So this is just crazy early game aggression, but it seems like Braveheart is well aware.
Yeah, they definitely know something's up. This is a very standard strategy we've seen before. And I mean, the moment Brightwing gets a little bit in range, the hook, if it connects from SCSC, that will be it. And it'll be bye-bye Brightwing, no more friends for you. We still have quite a few good rotations coming in. I like the fact that Jaina as well as Muradin is just scouting out where are these people, and they may find that out really soon.
Okay, one of the things.
That is close.
So the moment they show their position, they do come on out and start blowing up the minions. But one thing to consider with this composition, and you think about Hook and the power of Hook, is once we get towards the later game, Right Wing will have Blink here, Muradin has Dwarf Toss, Zeratul has Blink, and Jaina can get Ice Block. So they have a lot of defensive responses to that Hook, and most of the hooks that we should see in this game should be the surprise hooks coming from across the wall.
Yeah, and it is a very tricky situation, actually, for Team DK to work with because of the mobility that Braveheart has. As we said before in the drafting phase, this is going to be interesting to see how Braveheart reacts. They're currently down by about half a level, but I'm not too worried. The first night will spawn, Jake.
All right, yeah, we're here in the ninth phase. Teams will collect the seeds. It looks like it's going to be pretty even. Generally, it goes 30-30 from the auxiliary camps on the sides. DK Sniper on Eric trying to escape the after hat in the cleave. Not quite enough. Oh! Singularity Spike gets the kill.
Yeah, I mean, losing Eric, that is huge for Team DK. They will not be able to soak the lane EXP at the bottom lane, but here we have the rest of the team going for the Garden Terror already on the top half of this battleground.
Now, the other big win to denying Eric is not only are they not getting soaked, but they're not getting stacks for Bribe. When you pick up Bribe at level 1, I mean, that's all about getting as many minion kills as possible to pick up those mercenaries and then push with Mercward.
We may actually see a first Terror coming in. SCSE goes in, tries to steal a little bit more, and he gets it! And SCSE needs to pull back, taking away too much damage. We still have a lot of pokes from Braveheart, but Stitches is still pretty tanky. He has all that fence. He will still go down at the end.
It's just beautiful play. The after hat plus Zeratul is a lot of damage, but they managed to trade out Jaina for Stitches, so it's an even trade for both teams.
It's actually a very good trade. Whenever you have the Lost Vikings, trading is definitely a very, very good step for your team to take. We also see Balog going to Mercenary Camp right now. We'll pick that up easily.
And that's the power of Lost Vikings. You can just scoot one of them over aggressively across the battleground and just grab that mercenary camp quickly with Bribe. Now, Balog kind of bugging out here, will end up getting picked off. And just a little bit of relaxed control. He just clicked on the minimap somewhere, and Balog decided he didn't want to go home.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the fact that you've got 3 warriors to control, which is why the skill gap on this hero is going to be very, very tricky to play. We still see Sniper coming in already. This is efficient utilization of resources again, because we see some happy little tricks, and it's actually the Viking that's inside this one.
Such a nice power to have. Nice Dwarf Toss getting Muradin out of that situation, but Sniper is already doing so much damage with this Guard Terror, and all the while they have one Viking in the top, one Viking in the bottom, but Zeratul is on the hunt.
Yeah, it is going to be up to Zeratul to make sure that the Vikings don't get maximum value. And from behind, the polymorph is going to happen here. And it seems like this Balog is going to do some damage. 1v1 against Gemini on the Bright Wing. Still minimal damage, but we have the Zeratul from behind. And here we go. The clip is going to connect, and Balog will go down.
Beautifully done. Losing a Viking means experience and stacks for Bribe lost. But look at the damage done. Was it worth spending 2 heroes to defend a single Viking and to take this much damage? When you destroy 2 towers like this, that's 1300 XP, Babel.
This is exactly what you don't want to face. A train wreck coming in from Team DK. Braveheart just trying to react right now. The hook again not connecting so far. Queen's Curse is going to connect on one target only. We see the plant coming out again, but it's a little bit too far away from the keep. So not enough damage in the department, but right now, I'd just like to point out that it is going to be a full-on burst build for the Vala. We're going for Hungering Arrow.
Very, very powerful build for sure. You know, I just got to give credit to Sniper for his phenomenal play. He's controlling 3 heroes at once. He did critical damage with the Guard Terror, was fighting alone with Balog. Sure, he'll lose his Olaf here, but all in all, he has been doing excellent work across the map. I expect no less from a StarCraft 2 world-class player.
Definitely. Great map presence there already. Abathur, meanwhile, is soaking the top lane. And we have a bit of a split resource again. Vikings Bribery right now should be charged up pretty full. They may go for another Siege Giant, or maybe opting for the Bruiser Cam instead.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, with the second night phase being 27 seconds away, due to the fact that a Garden Terror was summoned in favor of DK, this means that Braveheart, they have 76 seeds already, so they're very close to getting a Garden Terror of their own. And that's going to be their turn, their time to turn things around, but they're down a full level going towards those heroics.
They are, and it looks like the heroics are very, very standard. Reyna's Raider as well. Strafe coming in, we got a bit of the Divine Shield and even Portrait Ball. Longbow Raid will be used here instead of Play Again. And it's kind of up in a debate whether Longbow Raid's better or Play Again's better, but right now I think that Longbow Raid is at least going to provide a little bit extra damage that the team may need.
I mean, if you manage to hit a nice big putrid vial, slow the enemy team down, the longboat raid can actually do a ton of damage, especially with Rainer's Raiders flying in. I mean, what's your target? There's so many things on the enemy team. If you don't have strong shot calling to find a single target to eliminate, it can be devastating for you.
Yep, Olaf and Eric both going down at the same time. The Lost Vikings are indeed a little lost right now. We got Team DK knocking on the Garden Terror, looking for a little bit extra seed. They may be able to get that, but BM goes in. Actually, that's break. And will connect the Fort Prison. It's going to be just nice. Here comes Rainer Trader. They are on a hot 0-2. It's not going to have these easy straights. Will go in. And still gets away. Raiders are still on the hunt, looking for the last takedown. May not be able to connect. Invisibility will go down at the end. What a nice escape.
Yeah, what a crazy goose chase that was. I mean, beautiful Void Prison, nice attempt, but in the end, he did get enough seeds, and he denied them. They're 1 seed away from having a Plant Terror on the side of Team DK. So all things considered, well worth it.
It's really the Zeratul credit right there. This is going to buy them a lot of time. Remember that we had a Garden Terror going towards Team DK for the first night. The second night, this is going to really even things out, and Braveheart, they need this to catch up in terms of that level gap.
Yeah, full level disadvantage for Braveheart right now, but yeah, like you said, this Garden Terror, you've got Overgrowth, you've got Queen's Curse, huge power for pushing on into your opponents, and it's exactly what they're going to try to do here.
Yeah, CSC looking for a possible hook target. It seems like he's just going to pull back. There is no Vikings in his vicinity. They're splitting up, soaking the lane's EXP right now. Queen's Curse connecting only on Fala, and Kadir on the Muradin just nicely boxing out the enemy a little bit. And we don't see any real form of engagement happening yet. Nobody's he's actually not really used to playing the range assassin role, but it seems like he is going to be playing that one here.
It's working out. The Ball Rainer just shredded through that Plant Terror's health bar like it was nothing, and things are going to start to get scarier. Once level 13 is hit, Giant Killer, a likely option for our Rainer player, can burn through big health bars. Muradin will start to just get tuned through, but no, they're going for the full-on skill shot style.
Yeah, they are, and that would be very interesting to see. There's also the possible combo we're going to see between a Ring of Frost as well as the Void Prison, and that would be something that I think Team DK has to play around. The position is going to be so important.
Okay, well, actually, they let this Plant Terror exist a little bit longer than they should have, and it's doing a lot of damage. The entire wall eliminated here in the top lane. But we have Team DK looking to try to find a fight. They have that talent here advantage for a short while, about to be negated when level 13 is reached on the side of Braveheart.
Yeah, we see those happy little trees just destroying the forts. The fort actually gonna stand at the end of the Overgrowth, but it will be okay. Meanwhile, Team DK goes in and tries to pick up a siege camp on the side here for Braveheart. They're gonna make sure that they're gonna come and put a bit of a contest, and there goes Cardier and the bottom of onto SCSC. They're buying a lot of time. Void Prison from behind. The Divine Shield connecting only on Stitches, and we will also see the Butcher Belt, but this is a kill zone, and Novelist is dropping. We see a lot of damage from the strafe, and the hook will connect on Brightwing. Braveheart drops one target. The rest of the team will pull back.
What a ridiculous fight after the Void Prison Ring of Frost. Full combo from Jaina Zeratul. They were able to live through it. The heals were exactly enough, and the hook on Brightwing taking a hero advantage. Absolutely impeccable by DK.
Don't forget, they don't have the Vikings there, and they were essentially playing 4 versus 4.5 with Abathur on one of them, and I get the point. It's not a fair comparison, but you see the positioning coming up from Team DK is exemplary.
All right, looks like Balon will be spotted and blown up promptly. Oh, Brightwing even face shifting in for that security policy. And no, he does end up going down, but all during this time, we have a big push in the bottom lane. Knights with that Merc Lord do quite a bit of damage.
This is already past the point where hunting the Vikings is going to matter because they have already soaked up a lot of EXP, and I would say that the first night is the key moment here. They push down the first fort at the mid lane, and they applied so much pressure that basically Braveheart could not have the space to adapt here. And we see a bit of rotation again from Team DK. They're going all the way up here and possibly looking for an engagement. Some of the Abathur's Toxic Nest will spot out this attempt if they do try it.
Yeah, but putting the pressure on is the right call. I mean, they have 16 to 14. That's a talent tier advantage, and I mean, we're talking double barrel and bullseye from Rainer now. This is when he is quite scary, especially against a squishy hero like Zeratul.
and we saw that before in opening week, being played by Team DK. It's just so accurate. I've never seen him actually miss one penetrating round from Team DK, and this will be very, very different. We have a bit of seeds going to both sides. Seems like it's not enough for another Terror on the side of Team DK, but we will have a Garden Terror for Braveheart.
Yeah, and it's already here in the front line, just kind of scaring them away from these seeds. But there was enough to grow here for Braveheart, like you mentioned. 9 more will secure the double terror back-to-back in favor of DK, and that's exactly what we see right now.
Yeah, I thought that Braveheart was able to get that Garden Terror at the bottom half of this map, but unfortunately not the case. We will have a 1v1, and Kadia now, as well as M, a little bit out of position. We see Sniper giving a bit of a chase. Pinkers does not work on plants. I'm sorry. It just does not work that way. And we still see a bit of a nice positioning from the rest of Braveheart. You just look at Team TK's positioning. You have Jaehyun, very, very safe, rotating between the mid-tier line as well as the back line there. And Noblesse just trying to apply a lot of poke pressure with Hungering Arrow and with Spell Shield up. I mean, Noblesse is not going to go down easy. We see Overgrowth again, but Sniper, there's actually nothing that's stopping Sniper, and it seems like Keep is going to drop easy. We will also see Sniper respawn, and this is okay. He's only Eric. He does have fast feet. He's going to run pretty fast here. It's not going to be easy to catch him.
Yeah, good defense, though. They managed to keep that keep alive. And it looks like, you know, after soaking all 3 lanes, Vikings will reconvene in the middle, look for this team fight. They need to defend this Terror. The hook pulls it on in. A nice stun going out.
And Am dropping, and the Gun Temper Sniper will go down first. Still no longbow raid this entire game yet. And we will see SCSC setting up the position, looking for a hook, but will not be able to use it because they don't have the damage at this point. 16 against 17, they have the level lead, but in terms of talents, they are pretty even.
Yeah, but just another 5 seconds until another Plant Terror is ready for Team DK. Right here in the bottom lane, Vikings have been getting that split soak that they need. And when you are able to do these kind of plays, mid-keep is already super low. You take out the mid-keep, you get the split soak, you're going to be so far ahead going into level 20, it's going to be very difficult to defend this.
And another Terror now spawns for Team DK. Braveheart struggling to put up some form of defense. We see that the Vikings are just slowly pushing and soaking the lane even more. This is a pressure that Braveheart cannot deal with. We see some Siege Giant applying some form of pressure here to buy some time, but it get quickly addressed by Team DK. Braveheart still giving a bit of a chase from behind, maybe a possible flank. The hook with extended range will not connect on M, unfortunately. And we see Kayatia in a good, interesting position. Axie actually losing Ultimate Evolution like that. And we got Noblesse flanking a bit of damage quickly on Murden. Sniper, they're just playing it really slow.
Yeah, but the mid-keep went down. There's Giants in the bottom lane, and Sniper is actually looking for Abathur. Exia had to stop Hearthing, has to use his burrow to travel across the map, and now the Plant Terror is just wailing away on this bottom lane.
The Overgrowth doing a lot of damage to the structures at the bottom lane. Ka'adia, he is in a position for a good stun, but there is no follow-up from the rest of them. They're not a talent tier down. They can take this fight if they need to. They just need a good positioning. And looking to set up Void Prison from behind. It seems like Jaehyun is actually gonna go to Void Prison, and they will have a target and take down Vala first. The rest of them gonna get combo quickly by the Ring of Frost. Ka'adia goes in. Extra zoning coming out. Jaehyun dropping a lot of HP and goes in. The clear finishes him up. SCSC pulling back, and M again gets hooked back in, and Kaladia tries to run back away. Sniper zoning out Desert Tool. We see some extra face shield coming in. Gemini is going to also save the teammate, and that will be the end of that engagement there.
The only reason that wasn't a devastating win for Braveheart is the fact of the Divine Shield coming out immediately onto Raynor. Raynor is the primary damage dealer. They need to get him out. They need him to get the peel. He can throw out the penetrating rounds, force them away, do a lot of damage. If Uther dies, it's not a big deal. He can keep healing. That was just great crisis control.
It is, and I really like to see the Grid Platform being used on Raynor specifically because he will be the one that does the maximum amount of damage here. SCSC trying to run away. There goes the extra route, and it seems like Stitches will be in a lot of trouble. May not fall in. Feeding him some bananas is a great idea. It will still not be enough for a kill yet. SCSC buying a lot of time. Pusher ball will not be enough. Unfortunately, he goes down.
Yeah, but like you said, bought them a lot of time, and they're working on these seeds here on the top part of the map. Once they collect the auxiliary camp, it's going to put them just shy of getting themselves yet another Plant Terror. That would be 3 in a row for them, and they just have to start working on the top boss, but they're a little worried about not having all 5 up.
Yeah, they have also picked up their Storm talent here, and it's interesting to see that it's an upgrade on the Longbow Ray, but we have not even seen a single Longbow Ray yet.
You know, it's just one of those things. Vikings are doing their job plenty well by picking up the seeds, getting the split push, and of course controlling the Garden Terrors. It's basically been his heroic picking up a Garden Terror.
Yeah. It just mobs into a big happy little tree and a lot of slapping action going down there. But we're going to see another terror spawn here for Team DK. Am setting up the fight, and we're also going to see Balog with the jump for joy. Sniper will go down at the end. Jaehyun unfortunately will not be enough to save the teammate.
Okay, plant terrors for both teams. 2 keeps down on the side of Braveheart. They're still about 60% of a level until they have their Storm talent. So this is going to be a bit of a risky fight. They almost want to stall out their plant terror and use it defensively.
Yeah, well, this is a really, really slow death for Braveheart.
Yeah.
They're dragging it out. Structurally, if you look at it, we have a Fort still standing in the middle lane here for Team DK. But if you look at Braveheart's side, basically the mid lane and the bottom lane is completely erased and barren right now. And we will also see another terror spawn here, Jake.
You know, I was almost positive I saw that Braveheart had a terror of their own, so I'm actually insane, Babel.
Yeah, well, basically math is kind of hard for casters, and I understand that, which is why I leave it to you.
Okay, well, thanks for that. We do see the Overgrowth going down, and they're pushing in on the final keep. This defense going to be difficult, but they just hit 20. They have their Storm talents. I mean, this gives them a bit more mobility. They do have Rewind and Zeratul. Of course, you have both of the Storm and Jaina, so she can get out of a lot of dicey situations.
Oh, cloning a second Zeratul now. Maybe able to set up a good fight. Jaehyun looks pretty open from the back line. They want to go for Reynor. That's the primary target. Making sure that Void Prison does not connect on that one there. SCSC, meanwhile, is also looking for a possible hook target. Meanwhile, the fake Zeratul will go down the real one behind, and he will be Void Prison. That Reynor, that means SCSC will be open to take damage, but they don't have the damage to follow it up. The hook again all the way to Beijing. Kaladia, it seems like he is going back home already. He's dropping a lot of HP. Olaf will go down, but it doesn't matter. Still no longbow. Radiant and Bao with the lockdown. Reynor drops. Clear goes in, and Reynor's already got Am now. Looking for more on the Vala. Vala is getting healed up quickly by Jaehyun. It seems like Braveheart is not even hold up front. 3 men down already. Sniper. Look at it. Having a final nail in here for Kaladia. He won't be able to find some time, and the core will drop 50%. And Noble is going to knock on the extra 4 there. This is gonna be a good time. Finally, we see the boat. It is for show only. Verified. This is like a Mercedes-Benz. The only driving when you need it. And game number 1 will go to Team DK.
What a beautiful performance from DK, busting out Stitches and Viking for the first time today, and using it so successfully. In team fights where you'd expect the hook to be used to initiate, they use it when the enemy team tried to retreat, and it was just such a cool way to approach the team fights.
Well, it is definitely fun, and also if you look at the damage output, there's something interesting to notice that Exia does a lot of damage on the Avatar. Really excellent place. Unfortunately, it just seemed like it is not enough to hold up against the Lost Vikings. It's basically slow poison, Todd.
Absolutely, yeah. There was a lot of cool little tricks here to the draft already. You know, with having an Abathur and a Jaina that you can go for Ultimate Evolution with. The Zeratul that could pick off some of these Vikings that he spent a lot of time doing, but in the grand scheme of things, he was also wasting a lot of time while DK, the entire team, kept on piling up and collecting more and more of the seeds. So let's jump into our Windows 10 game DVR replay here, and we can see that last engagement that took place. I'm gonna pause it right there. So we had Abathur use Ultimate Evolution on Zeratul instead of Jaina here in this fight. And it really felt rushed. It felt like they had to defend now, and I mean, they did, but because he was going badly the entire fight, they went into a fight that just wasn't that good. Like Zeratul finds himself here in the middle of all of these guys. Gemini here is alone, split from the rest of his team. He can't even heal Muradin here, or the Jaina over there. So he's not doing much at all. And then Zeratul didn't even dare going into the fight here himself. So they're gonna go into that engagement here. And the Ultimate Evolution gets stunned and killed pretty much immediately. And then from there, Void Prison is not significant enough to help a lot. Sniper is in a terror and doing a ton of damage. And they just win the fight and finish the game as well.
Well, just overall great strategy being played by Team DK. I think that, you know, they had this game plan coming into this series. And it's interesting to see how they managed to capitalize on the inflexibility of Braveheart.
You know, and DK does a lot of things that I don't see a lot out of other teams. The fact that we often see Reynor saving his allies with his snipe. It's just so very powerful in that utility, but also just the use of the hook, not always strictly using it for the initiation, right? You think of a warrior as initiator, generally, but they seem to have just a different, perspective in that sense. Brightwing's trying to get away, she blinks to another hero, they can predict that Brightwing's going to blink in on the hero and land the hook on her. And they can make a lot of really cool plays in those situations.
It seems like, by the way, in North America and Europe, when you pick Rainer, it's all about that Hyperion. Whereas now, over in Korea, they pick Rainer's Raiders almost every single time. And to be honest, they make it look really good.
Yeah.
Same as for Stitches. Stitches looked insane this game. Like, he did his job perfectly.
Yeah, it's strategically just a really interesting question. I mean, Stitches is not the best peel that the game has to offer, but the way Team DK played it is just being very patient and making sure that that works out well. And on the flip side, though, if you look at the Lost Vikings, it's just basically a numbers game. Braveheart's strategy in that game is to make sure that they lock down as many people as possible and to combo up with the Ring of Frost. But when numbers are so great, you have basically 7 versus 5. It's going to be impossible to track all of them.
Yeah, they were behind the entire game, Braveheart, so they tried to make the most of it. But again, these fights felt so rushed and chaotic that they weren't able to pull off a victory in any of them.
Alrighty, well, before we hop on into game number 2, we actually sat down with all the teams to talk to them, but DK in particular, we asked them what their team strengths are. Let's take a look.
저랑 팀장이 제일 나이가 많거든요. 생활적인 부분에서 항상 경쟁들한테 싫은 소리 한 번도 안 하고 그냥 다 항상 좋게 풀어가는 게 장점이지 않나.
크레이지 무빙 한기수 선수는 되게 적들한테 위협적이게 딜을 잘 넣는 것 같아요. 스나이퍼 권태훈 선수는 저희 팀에서 가장 많은 영웅을 할 줄 아는 선수고요. 그리고 노블레스 최도준 선수는 일단 저희 팀의 오더를 하고 있고요. 그리고 오더 그게 제일 중요한 것 같고, 그리고 뭐 판단이나 나머지 뭐 1, 2단 같은 피지컬이 필요한 영웅들 그런 거 다 잘하는 것 같아요. 누가 봐도 제일 잘하는 탱커 포지션이고, 그리고 뭐 스킬을 피하는 거나 뭐 맞추는 거 이런 거에 좀 많이 잘하는 것 같아요.
Experience has taught the Protoss that when we do not fight together, we die alone. But we shall not see defeat this day. For we stand as one. Our differences will not divide us, but make us stronger. Together, we will defend the Nexus with honor and earn our glory. I am Hierarch Artanis, leader of all Protoss. And in unity, there is strength.
From east to west, heroes are sent, seeking glory in the greatest of events. There are knights on noble steeds, those who will bring them to their knees. There are monsters to test their mettle at every turn. Legends will rise based on their merits. There's even pirates riding pirates. It's the grand tournament.
Let's end this thing, once and for all. My life for hire. StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Pre-purchase now at StarCraft.com.
Welcome back to the first ever Heroes of the Storm World Championship live at BlizzCon 2015. Look at that trophy! Wow!
She's a beauty.
Oh, well, definitely. Very, very awesome looking trophy. Very tall, and I hear very heavy.
Well, my name is Solid Jake. I'm joined at the desk by Babel and Todd, and we're going into game number 2 between Braveheart and Team DK, where DK is currently sitting up 1-0.
That was a pretty convincing win, but at the same time, you know, Braveheart maybe from the draft made a few mistakes and didn't, I guess, picture their composition to be able to do as well as it should have. Also, it was DK's map, right, which is almost never played, right? Which is a great, to be honest, it's a great thing that they have going for them, to be able to pick this map that not too many people play and to be so good on it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, God of Terror is only picked once by Team DK for the entire opening week, and now for a second time getting picked by the same team again. I think that the general plan from Braveheart off the fly from the draft was to soak the lane using Abathur and to get Zeratul to hunt those Vikings down to prevent the lane soak. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out as planned because they had Vikings bribery, they made perfect use of it, and to make sure that they capitalized on the first night. Remember that night, the first devastating night, that same night, Jake? Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about.
Nobody
that
followed
night,
the first night.
Yeah, nobody, what? But they actually followed through all the way from mid lane push, and that was really painful, right, Jay?
It was painful. But you know, another thing I want to talk about is Brightwing, and I don't know if I got the Brightwing pick in that game. I don't think it really fulfilled the role as effectively as it could have, and I feel like a lot of other supports might have been better suited. Maybe Malfurion. Maybe Rhaegar, I'm not sure. Even Karazim, right? If they've got Vala, they've got Raynor, and they're doing a fair amount of burst. It's not the most burst in the world, but it's decent. It's decent. You know, maybe it would have been better to have Karazim for your composition.
I would agree, definitely. Anything but Brightwing. In that instance, there's just no stopping anyone from going to the back line. And even though they had Muradin, it just didn't work out in the end. Personally, I think Braveheart now need to recalibrate and prepare for pocket strategies like this one here.
The fact that DK picked Garden of Terror, actually, it really goes to show that they are really trying here. They don't want to be eliminated clearly, but they are not holding any punches. They are not saving any strats for later on in the tournament for the semifinals. They want to give everything they've got here in this matchup after getting upset earlier in opening week, and they want to try to take out Braveheart with the best they've got.
Before we get to the draft, I just want to quickly call out Cloud9 for getting the vocabulary Dees in my brain. They say that so much, and it has plagued my brain. So thanks, guys. Anyways, let's get on into the draft for game number 2 here on Dragonshire between Team DK and Braveheart.
Oh, Dragonshire, this is a battleground that Team DK is so well versed in. I mean, they in fact also took a game of MVP Black on Dragonshire in the current championships. Here we also will see Tyrael getting banned out as usual.
So Braveheart picked the first ban and first pick over picking the map here, it seems like.
Yeah, they decided on first pick for this one because they lost the first game. So going into this draft, they will want the first pick basically for Jaina again, but we'll see what is the game plan here. Tyrael as well as ETC is already addressed, by the way.
I wonder if they would actually go for Uther. I mean, Uther made some ridiculous saves in that last game. It's so impactful when you're able to just get that one hero with Divine Shield that can then peel for your team, Raynor in a lot of situations. So they might even be considering that, even though they haven't done that too much, it will be Jaina.
Yeah, it's funny actually to see again the rise of ETC as well, much like Sylvanas, to being one of the most picked and now even banned hero in this tournament. Definitely, I guess, catching some momentum himself. And done pretty well in quite a few of these games.
Yeah, definitely. I think the first ban on ETC is not really warranted, but it's only because Team DK is so confident that they know the Braveheart hero pool may be the select few heroes. They also had the luxury of witnessing the games that Braveheart played against Tempo Storm, so they can better prepare themselves for this elimination match here. Uther and Muradin getting picked up, very standard tier 1s going to both sides. Nothing surprising yet.
Yeah, nothing surprising by that. And you know what? As much as the ETC ban might not seem warranted, they take ETC out of the picture and they grab Muradin. Those are the two best heroes for rotations, especially in the early game. You can consider maybe Arthas or Diablo strong at it, but until the late game, Johanna doesn't really have that same kind of initiation without Blessed Shield.
Yeah, with how good they are, Team DK, this is very worrying here. for Braveheart, who pick up Tassadar, I guess, for a little bit more vision, survivability with the shield, and escape with dimensional shift. And if you think actually about the draft and how it's currently going here for DK, Muradin and Uther, there is so many scary heroes that could be added to this. I'm thinking Kael'thas already. I think Tyrande as well could be so scary.
Yeah, there's a lot of scary options on the table. Well, Braveheart is playing this much more defensively, going straight for the vision. They've got Oracle and they've got Creep Spread.
And I think that basically Braveheart here is going for individual lane soak. You know that Tesla win lanes pretty easily. Zagara is the best 1v1 in any situation possible. And this is Dragonshire, so they're just adapting to the battleground and to see what can be made of here in this composition. But I do agree, Todd, that Uther as well as Muradin, they are just so flexible. They can be added in almost every single composition here, and it's impossible to know what Team DK wants to run at the back line.
So much to pick from, and I guess one thing that they can do is wait until Braveheart complete their pick 2 and 3, and then see the banned Stitches actually gets banned here from Team DK.
They're selling an idea that Stitches is really good. I like the idea, but I'm not sure many teams will agree with
What,
that.
they're selling an idea? What?
Yeah, they're trying to prove that Stitches is very good. We're going to ban him out. It's all part of the plan, Todd.
It's also...
But they won with it last game.
No, it's definitely also warranted when you consider vision, right? Hope becomes that much more dangerous if you can see your enemies over walls. So if you have Oracle and you have Creep Spread, you could find them out of position, especially with Fishing Hook in the late game. Such a great utility. Oh, that Pepe is cute.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's actually very worrisome right now. Sonya getting banned out as well. There's a total of 4 warriors getting banned out. Muradin getting picked up by Team DK. And at the same time, Braveheart still does not have a warrior. Jake, what's left?
Well,
Johanna, Leoric.
oh, we saw Diablo attempted. Johanna Leoric seemed like the two likelihood, right? Leoric, as a solo warrior, hasn't seen a ton of success. Johanna has a lot more success in that.
Arthas on this map could be pretty good.
Arthas can be pretty good, but usually want to try to get Bruiser Bro. So maybe Arthas Leoric, but you're spending a lot doing that. They've already got, I mean, you'd be running solo Tassadar.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see Arthas going to Team DK. They have a renowned best Arthas in the world, SCSC, with a very beautiful record going into this World Championship. I think right now it stands at 9-2, 9 wins and 2 losses only. And Johanna will go to them. So what's really left will be the Arthas as well as Leoric, and there's a big problem there.
Yeah, I mean, they could try to do something with a new Barak. They could try to do double Bruiser with this competition, run the solo Tassadar. It can work. Tassadar is definitely more of a support now than he was in prior patches. But it's going to be tough. Muradin and Johanna with ETC banned now, I mean, that's some great control of the warriors that excel in rotating in this map.
Oh, and it's Arthas here coming out to try and, I guess, tank some damage here at the front for the rest of the team to do the job. It feels like a very weird, you know, out-of-place draft so far here from Team Braveheart. It seems like DK are definitely getting the much better end of things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but one thing about... Oh, Rhaegar getting picked up here. That's exciting. Now, this is a hero that basically most teams don't run because of the fact that he needs to hit that late game before those heals can be dropped in good amounts. Meanwhile, we have got the Ancestral Healing that comes at level 10, and that will heal up. By the way, this is an upgrade level 20, and for this one here, it heals up really well. It brings you almost back up to full HP, heals a tremendous, ridiculous amount of HP.
And if you pair that with ghouls, if you opt to go with Army of the Dead for Arthas, it actually gives you much more of a window. You can actually kind of time out the ghouls and keep your health sustained relatively well and buy time for the Ancestral. So that pairing does make some sense in that regard. If they're able to control the fights, maybe with a combination of Force Wall and Maw, that could certainly work out well for them with Jaina in the backline just laying down the pain.
It's most certainly going to be a full survivability here. Build from Arthas, relentless, everything he needs. No Syndra goes in, Kael'thas here gets picked up.
Yeah, I was really worried a little bit because they have a very good rotation in Muradin as well as Uther. But Vala does not have the early game damage. Kael'thas will have a little bit of the extra help there. Vala is basically going to be playing the late game here. But meanwhile, Arthas does win lane pretty easily. Johanna's been picked up here because it's Dragonshire, and she does have very good wave clear mechanics.
That is so much stun, by the way. Uther and Muradin both have a stun. Kael'thas has Gravity Lapse. Johanna has Blessed Shields.
Condemned too.
Vala has Rain of Vengeance.
Oh. No, that is not possible. Well, we've said that before about Lightning Breath, but look what happened. So, well, definitely Rain of Vengeance will be interesting, but you don't really want to use this heroic in this battleground because there's not enough choke points generally.
Here before.
Alrighty, well, Todd, thanks so much for your insight. We'll check with you after the game, but I think it's ready to hop on in to the second game of this best-of-3 series. Babel, we're going to Dragonshire, the map where it's all about rotations, and this is it. This is the last chance for Braveheart in their tournament life. DK, they want to advance here. One more win will seal the deal. On the side of the blue team will be Foul, playing as Jaina Exia on Zagara. Gemini going to be on the Rhaegar. Kaidar going to be playing Arthas and M on Tazadar. That's Braveheart. And on the red side, that's Team DK. We're gonna get that graphic swap. Oh, there we go. DK. We've got Crazy Moving. Gonna be on Kale Thoth. Jacob Young, how do you pronounce the last name? That's Uther. Noblesse, gonna be Johanna SCSC on Murden and Sniper on Bala. And all you guys in the crowd, thanks so much for staying this late into BlizzCon with us. We love you very much.
This could possibly be the last game here, and thank you very much for staying with us all the way. This is the Heroes of the Storm BlizzCon World Championship. Both of these teams, they want to make sure that they go into the semifinals, because that's exactly where they will represent their region respectively. There's no more Chinese team, and this is only the last one and only, in fact, invited Korean team here in this whole tournament.
So, Babel, I'm trying to think of like the worst possible analogy I can make, right? Because this is a team that has crazy rotation potential. So many stuns on the side of DK. Braveheart, they're on the defense. They've got Howling Blast, Oracle, Creep Spread. Jaina has slows, Earth, and you've got the Totem on Rhaegar as well. So a lot of their play has to be just trying not to die in the early game to the imminent rotations that will exist from DK.
Yeah, it is really, really very, very bad looking. It's like preparing your toast as well as the spread and realizing you don't have eggs for breakfast.
Babel, I'm egg intolerant. I can't eat eggs.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that does not apply to you.
Alrighty, well, the shrines will be spawning in the top and bottom of the battleground. And of course, if you control both of them, you can summon the Dragonite in that center shrine.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to do that early in the game. Both are being channeled by the blue team, but that will quickly be relinquished.
It's interesting that Rhaegar is actually soloing the bottom lane here. He has a bit of survivability in that he can run away pretty quickly, and here you can see that firsthand. But the rotations from Team DK seems to be very much on point. They will station a solo Murden at the top lane. Meanwhile, Braveheart will retain more control because Zagara just beats anyone in a lane, 1v1.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of this is lane control, and they're doing a good job in doing that. They haven't lost a single hero. They're actually turning around, throwing a lot of damage onto Sniper, who does back away safely. But during this time, SCSC able to capture this top shrine. So evening things out 1-1, but experience just slightly in favor of DK.
So this is where the rotations are really going to matter a lot. They want to make sure that they catch up to Zagara because she is a very, very much of a big problem for Team DK. But they will instead rotate between the mid and bottom specifically. And you could see that the whole army just moved up the top lane. The rotations are very much okay. In case this is the first time you're playing Dragonshire, do note that you don't really have to be at the lane all the time to soak the EXP. Just make sure that you are there when the minions actually eventually go down.
So one thing I want to point out is really quite interesting. It's a Fall Condemn build for Johanna, it's a multi-shot build for Vala, and it's a Thunderclap build for Muradin. So they're trying to really stack it up, just pull everyone together and then hit them with their AoEs to the best of their ability. And this is a very interesting way to approach this kind of game.
It is, and Crazy Moving nearly getting a Dragon Knight there, unfortunately getting cancelled quickly by Tassadar's Varian Psionic Storm. We will also see Exia applying a lot of pressure to top lane, making sure that they get a shrine. The shrines, which is very, very volatile right now. You can see that the rays turn blue, they turn red again, and Kaadia going for the lockdown, but there's not enough damage in the backline. Jaina getting stunned quickly by Jae Hyun, and that's a very, very good rotation. I actually have a problem pronouncing Korean names as well, Jake.
Excellent, Babel. You make me feel so much better. M was actually very low there. Dimensional Warp to dodge the Hungering Arrow. Very nicely done. But Dragonos over the wall. A lot of damage. Pulling him in. Gemini will escape with his life just barely from that living bomb.
Yeah, I mean, look at that Uther just a tad too late. If he was just a second earlier, would have landed the stun, and that would be a kill already. Here we see Pao just applying a lot of pressure here. Kadia swinging by as well, and the Gravelabs connecting. Arthas will be okay. It's a defensive maneuver.
Okay, SCSC just trying to recapture this top shrine. Vala keeping her eyes on that middle lane, making sure they can't pick anything up, but Johanna gets picked off. You know, we thought that this was going to be an early game rotation for DK, but Braveheart, they're the ones getting the first kill.
Well, they definitely have Jin on the side of Braveheart, which means that you will be able to apply a lot of burst as well. And meanwhile, mid lane seems like Vala is in a lot of trouble. Vala will go down, and it is all to the credit of Blizzard. Meanwhile, top lane, there is a bit of a fight here for the shrine. Power going, and a dragon that goes to Braveheart. Exia, meanwhile, gets a bit of a shield. SCSC overextends, gets through to a little bit quick cleanse coming from Jaehyun, but SCSC is still going to be okay and retreats past the wall there.
Okay, good escape there, but it's still 2 kills in a Dragonite in favor of Braveheart, who have just taken the lead in experience. Before destroying really all that many structures, taking out that bottom tower will be 2 down, 800 XP for their team respectively. And that's going to really help them on their quest to level 10, where they're already a full level ahead.
Well, they are really, really far ahead right now. Braveheart, this is a different team again from game number 1, in which they're playing from behind. Here they have a very clear plan, and that is to make sure that Zagara may have a lot of lane pressure, and that they make sure that they stay safe, like you said, Jack, in the early part. Dragon Levels connected after this. Meanwhile, SCSC going for the lockdown, but not enough damage from this trio here.
Yeah, just beautiful turnaround there, almost getting the kill for themselves. So nicely done, protecting their ally.
Well, I'm actually a little tad disappointed with the first Dragonite. Not a single structure was taken down from that one. And now Noble is swinging by, Condemn connecting, Foul dropping a lot of HP. There's a Hungering Arrow coming out. Jaina now dropping even more, and a multi-shot finisher off.
All right, a nice takedown there. 1 on the board for DK, but they're still behind in XP, level 10. Around the corner here for Braveheart. So DK is going to have a very small window where they have to play relatively passively.
Yeah, they have to make sure that they get the level 10 as well. They're playing from behind. They will get the Siege Giant. That's going to apply some pressure on the bottom lane. But here we go. Level 10 already achieved by Braveheart. And Arthur's dropping some HP will be okay. It is the Army of the Dead, Ancestral Healing, Force Wall, as well as Devouring Maw, Jaina undecided.
Pretty much exactly as we expected. I mean, you have Force Wall and Maw for controlling the fight. You have the huge sustain between Army of the Dead and then Ancestral Heal. Well, what's interesting to me is that they're not trying to follow up with Ring of Frost and Maw. That's such a strong combo. We've seen great use of all weekend. They went Water Elemental.
Maybe because they don't really want to use the Maw as an initiation tool, but as a disengage tool here, which would be very interesting to see against the likes of Kel'Thas as well as Vala. They do enough damage over a great period of time, but you want to make sure you take them out of the equation first and to go in. We do also see some great strategy being played by both teams. They are going for the mercenary camps at a time like this, knowing for sure that they're applying extra lane pressure, getting that little extra edge is going to be very important.
All right, a lot of pressure in the bottom lane with these Mercs. Like you said, the Bruisers and the Giants knocking on the door, actually taking out 2 more towers in favor of Braveheart. But DK, they've equalized the experience. They're pushing on in. They've caught up for the most part, and they're looking to control the next phase for these shrines.
But the plan here for Team DK is clearly to go in and take down Jaina and to make sure that Zagara is nowhere close. They also have to make sure that the positioning is going to be perfect to not get caught up in the entangling route in the event that they do perform the dive. In terms of sustain, it's very clear that Uther will not be able to out-sustain the Tessera as well as the Rhaegar. Kalia will be okay. Meanwhile, Noble is dropping a lot of HP. Popsy Skin will be fine. Sniper with a very wild strafe, not really achieving anything. Howling Blast also missing here. What is happening? Everyone's not connecting their skill shots.
Just a lot of baiting out skill shots, it seems, actually. Just forcing them to use their abilities, but forcing out that strafe, which didn't do a lot at this point. Nice Divine Shield has to go out.
And here we go. Ancestral Healing connects. Kalia is almost as good as new. He goes in. Frozen Tempest will wallow Jaehyun. Not the primary target will take that because the Flash of Light's going to heal up so much more. Noble is dropping a lot of HP, but Uther keeps him up alive. Meanwhile, in the backline, SCSC decimating Braveheart. They have to make sure that they turn their hits back here because there is a really badass looking Muradin.
I mean, Tassadar, Rhaegar, you thought they were going to see a few kills on the side of Braveheart, but no, the double support just prevailing, and the Maw connecting on 1 target, 3 already down. Let's make that 4. Crazy moving goes down, a decimating fight in favor of Braveheart.
And already 3 men down on the side here for Team DK. Really good trade and engagement by Braveheart. They know what they wanted. They made sure that they spaced it out really well. The Varmo was being used just in the nick of time to go in and finish the other teammates off.
6-1 in terms of kills this game. Braveheart, like you said, they look like a different team right now. The rotations, their communication, their control, they didn't even spend Maw until they won that one kill. Force Wall was enough with their sustain and just Howling Blast with Arthas, and they have yet another Dragon Knight.
The second Dragon Knight coming out here again. Johanna goes down in the top lane.
Man.
It seems like the plan for Team DK is not working out. We see the Dragon Knight plowing down the mid lane, SCSC pulling back. And Kadia is able to apply a lot of pressure. The rest of the team is going to try and put for a concentrated approach in the mid lane. The Fort in a lot of trouble. Vala still defending the top lane against that Zagara. And the rest of the team will not be able to defend this fort, unfortunately.
All right, the poke from DK has been quite good on the Dragon Knight, so they're chipping away at it well. They actually managed to keep that fort standing, which is a ridiculous feat. Probably will fall to the minions, but all things considered, they're still down 2 levels.
They are, and they have to play catch-up again, looking for extra EXP. It's going to be pretty difficult right now. All the lanes are getting pushed out, and they're going to make sure that they go for mercenary camp, which is exactly what they are doing here. You see some good rotations from both sides, but so far, it's just very hard to really identify Team DK's biggest mistake in this game.
Props to M for constantly just roaming around and throwing out force walls if he thinks he might be in a bad spot, because it's such a short cooldown. He uses it almost like a normal ability, because in a lot of ways it does feel like the same, casting Psystorm.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you keep your flanks safe, and that's exactly what the Force Wall did there. Jaina, meanwhile, Water Elemental already being used here. Sniper dropping a lot of HP. Kadia swinging by as well. And there goes the Divine Chill. SCSC pulls back. Nobilis is able to hold up front. The whole team is back into position right now. 16 against 14, but they are 1 talent tier down, and they will not go for the fight.
All right, Water Elemental traded for Divine Shield and Strafe. That's actually quite good for you. I mean, even if you're going in there, like we mentioned, Force Wall is such a short cooldown, it's already ready for use once again.
Yeah, it looks so good. Tesla is almost impossible to kill right here. He does have pressure as well, and he heals up while he moves. You also will see Zagara going for full-on damage, and that will be interesting to deal with. They do have the AoE damage to deal with those Mutalisks, but it will be interesting to see what is the strategy at play.
Well, right now, it's the soak game for DK. They need to get back to that even talent footing. And this is exactly why you're seeing so much aggression in the bottom lane. They have the Knights, they have their team, and they're charging on in, forcing a defense out of DK. But they can't take an even team fight. They have to look for a slip up on the side of Braveheart to really look for just someone that steps out alive.
And they're really just soaking a lane right here. You have Muradin at the top lane, making sure that he gets maximum amount of EXP possible. M just addressing this huge wave that's pushing out the top lane. SCSC swinging back again. Rest of them just not making sure that they have any possible contact in terms of a big team fight. But M dropping a lot of HP. Meanwhile, Gemini picks up the bottom shrine, and we have Muradin just knocking down the structures on top.
Yeah, good crisis control, though. I mean, they've gotten pretty close to level 16. They're almost there. The bottom keep didn't really take any damage at all. Bloodshot going off in Zagara. They're looking for the kill, but no, the grounded ops misses. Maw hits on 2 targets.
Nobilis goes in, walls in and out. The Banelings bursting down a lot of damage. Jaehyun will be alive. Meanwhile, Divine Chill keeps Killstars alive. And you also will see SCS in the backline pound dropping a lot of HP, and Cetro healing brings him back up. Jaehyun dropping, will go down. Kadia pops the army of the dead. SCSC will also get addressed. He is feeling really, really bad right now, flying through the wind. And we have Nobilis as well as Sniper already saved, but that's a 2-for-0 exchange.
This is a ridiculously well-played game by Braveheart so far. I mean, what looked like a great initiation from DK turned into a tragedy. The Maw hit the 2 targets, Arthas quickly rotated down, and they just capitalized perfectly.
It's just the fact that they didn't take care of the flanks. And the third Dragon Knight, Jake, this is going really in favor of Braveheart. They will have the ability to bring it to a third game. The kills look like it's 9 against 1. Sniper dropping a lot of HP. Meanwhile, mid lane in a lot of trouble. 1 second before Muradin comes back. Nobilis just holding up the front. We see the Force Wall, but it's not going to be enough yet.
Mabel, we're talking about a team that was merged together 3 weeks ago. They defeated Temple Storm, and here they are, 3 levels ahead of the Korean representative, Team DK. What a phenomenal performance, but no, they're charging back.
And the Blaster connects. JNF pumping a little bit of the ice block, but will not be enough. We see a complete whip under the Vargo. Bow will go down. Gemini now pulling back. Am in a lot of trouble. SCSC continuing to push. Gravity Labs will not connect. Rest of the team falling behind. We see even more catch up here. They want to make sure they catch Lenexia. The stocks will go down, but the shield's just too much to work with. Jaehyun meanwhile will go down in the back line. Uther gone. Zagara is down. Crazy moving, dropping. Rhaegar wants to go in to take a little bit of a yummy bite off the Kel'Thuz's, but will not be able to do that. We see some stuns from SCSC, and Gemini will be in a lot of trouble. Still not going down. The impressions been kicking in already. Gemini still alive. How is he still alive? Crazy moving, almost dropping. They will go to the signing stop, and also Johanna already gone. We see Am giving chase. Team DK, they clearly overextended there. Kaladia waiting for the cooldown of the Howling Blast. The Force Wall, and SCSC, you shall not pass. He is in a lot of trouble here, waiting for the dog toss. We see the strafe, more damage on them. He does not have prescience. He pops the dimensional shift. Sniper in a lot of trouble. There goes some extra kills from the Blood for Blood. The Fox Wall a little bit too much. It's so much for back and forth action. I think they have to just call it quit here. They cannot kill each other.
What a ridiculous trade. Double support is insane, but now it's been such a long fight that Uther is back in action. And they realize this, but they back up, and now they have level 20. Storm Talents back on up. This is a huge advantage. 2 heroes out. They're blinking on in. Jaden goes in, like, water Ellie down, but the PO Stormbolt just stalling out. That's like, we're going to be able to see that hero walk away. Vala going to be A-okay for the bottom keep. I'm not so sure, Babel.
It's a quick reaction on the set of Vala. They already heal level 20 here for Braveheart. They want to make sure they capitalize as much as possible on this talent here that they get in the Storm Talents. And they are also pushing the bottom lane really, really hard right now. The rest of the lane also getting pushed out. Meanwhile, Nobilis is just pulling back. Some say he is the best Johanna this game has ever seen. And you're looking at it right now, going in against Arthas like that. But there is not enough damage regardless from both sides.
You know, I'm really thinking about this, the stylistic choice of going very AoE heavy in this game on the side of DK, and why they might have done this. Maybe they just thought they didn't have enough damage versus the Tassadar and the Rhaegar combo, so they want to just spread it out with AoE, but it's not working out. They keep getting so close to kills, but their damage is so spread out that Chain Heal is just healing through it well enough with the shields of Tassadar.
We mentioned before that Rhaegar is a hero that really does a lot of heals in the late game, and this is exactly where he is. Level 20 already with the Storm Shield up, as well as the fact that he got the Tidal Waves, Healing Surge, and those Chain Heals is just really going to hit so much. It's going to heal up the whole team. The sustain will be real right now. They try their best to apply a generic amount of damage over an area, an AoE there, but unfortunately it's just not working out yet.
Yeah, so far, I mean, this is looking tough for DK. They are currently up 1-0, so this is not the end for them, but Braveheart, they're turning heads. They're going in with the big plays, but they're going to have to defend this push.
The sustain is actually very real for Braveheart. For Team DK, they actually have not taken a single fort yet. Meanwhile, Frostwall just creating a bit of a traffic block here for Nobilis, but it's going to be okay. Am going in for the Dragon Knight, and another Dragon Knight for Braveheart, plowing down the mid lane. Meanwhile, Team DK has yet to take a single fort off Braveheart.
This is going to be tough. We're talking 21-19. Storm Talents to no Storm Talents and a full health Dragon Knight, and they're working on that keep. Johanna just hearts back to base, and it looks like they're even going to try to bypass it, looking at that core as the big objective to end the game, but they're throwing away so much health of the Dragon.
Yeah, it's just almost impossible to take down the Dragon Knight easily with this amount of AoE spread out damage. You don't even have the burst required to take him down quickly. That means Structures will be taking a lot of damage. M now going in onto the keep, and here comes the Stray from Sniper, doing enough damage spread out over great area. Nobilis goes in, connects on 2, but still not enough for anything. There goes the Howling Blast. Unfortunately, Iron Skin will keep Johanna safe.
But all things considered, I mean, yeah, they got the keep, and that's all good and well. That Dragon was used very sloppily. I mean, they were a little bit careless with it. It has a very long duration this late in the game, and I feel like they could have done a lot more with it.
Definitely. It is just the fact that they took down one keep. It's still a small victory. It's a great direction to push, but we are almost going to see level 20 on the side of Team DK. That means that they will be on equal talent here.
Equal talent tiers, but they're down to just their last keep, while all 3 forts and keeps still remain on the side of Braveheart. That is how convincing this game has been for them.
They definitely have the lead here. The force wall coming out. Bit of a nice little harassment there, if you will. There is not enough damage in the vicinity by far. And we will also see a bit of indestructible coming in as well as the bolt of the storm. That's going to help Kel'Thas relocate properly. Redemption as well. And the hardened shield plus another bolt of the storm for Vala. This looks to be pretty much making sure that the backline stays safe.
There's so much more survivable now. It's actually ridiculous. Think about Redemption, Indestructible, this hardened shield, Bolt of the Storm, Bolt of the Storm. That team just they can live twice as long now, so maybe this is their moment. Maybe this is what DK is looking for. If they can win a few team fights, they can definitely bring this game back.
Yeah, Jake, I'm just not convinced that Team DK can win in a sustained long fight against 2 support.
Yeah.
You're looking at the Force Shields coming in, you're looking at Ancestral Healing, you're looking at Chain Heals. These guys are just not going down. And we see a small little dispute here. We're going to nicely resolve this with the Security Council, and it seems like the blue team will pick up the Siege Camp.
All right, pick up the Siege Camp. 15 seconds until the Shrines spawn once again. It's 12-3 in terms of takedowns. DK, they really need to make something happen soon. If the Nether Dragon is picked up, it is going to be near impossible to make that defense happen.
It is, and Sniper in a bit of trouble here. Noblesse swinging by, Condemn connecting only on Arthas. And both teams just taking the time, making sure that they pace it out well. Well, you don't want to throw away a fight this moment here, because it's going to be very key. One fight win for Braveheart and its game. If Team DK can win 2 to 3 fights, they still have a shot in this game.
Yeah, there's just so many structures that have to work through in the event they do win a team fight, like you said. So we'll see what they're able to do. Top Shrine will be captured by Tassadar. If they catch wind that there's a little bit of vulnerability, they can try to just push in and take out a single fort. That's exactly what they're going to do here.
Jake, we have to remember that a lot of stuff is on the line here for both teams. If Team DK loses this battleground and this game, they have to play a 3rd game, and they're in the same position as Braveheart. Braveheart, if they lose this, they are out. So they want to make sure that they play the best and play the safe as possible.
It's a tense moment for these teams. Of course, this is the World Championship. Controlling this bottom shrine right now is good, and they find Tassadar. Now it's a hard target to blow up. He gets out with Dimensional Warp, but still, reposturing Gravity Lapse does not connect there.
He's not in the perfect spot for a Force Wall, and you see that sloppily coming out already. SCSC pulls right back. Unfortunately, not enough to even bait out the Dwarf Toss. And we have the rest of the team posturing again. Am playing the flank. He does have Dimensional Shift on cooldown, by the way.
Now, the big benefit for this in the eyes of Braveheart is they already control that top shrine. So if they manage to win a fight there, they quickly grab the bottom shrine, grab a Dragonite, the game ends. Well, Braveheart, that's why they didn't have to commit fully, but it was still a good situation for them. Falling back to the Knights, also a nice play.
Yeah, just making sure that they take it really slow and they play the sustain correctly. They will be locked down very badly by Meridian as well as Johanna, but as long as Devouring Maw is up and online, they can quickly disengage and spread out the fight. Force Wall will also half the fight, actually, if in the right position for Tassadar.
Look for a moment there, like Braveheart might get themselves a dragon, but Johanna was in the top lane to respond, and they're also going to be there to clean out that Bruiser camp. But they realize this position, and they're getting so aggressive here in the bottom. Is this a death push from Braveheart?
I don't think it is. I don't think they can afford to push right here. They don't want to lose this advantage that they have earned throughout this entire game. In fact, over the last 4 minutes, not a single kill, Jake.
Yeah, it has been a very passive game, but because the teams know that this late in the game, if you just get wiped in a team fight, it is devastating for your team. Could be lights out entirely.
And it's just basically the Wolf sustain right now. Meanwhile, Johanna seems to be in a lot of trouble, getting caught out like that by Braveheart. And we have them going in, just building up some forward defense. There goes the Devouring Maw already. Kaladia still not using anything just yet. Noblesse pulling back, getting healed up by Uther quickly, and it seems like they will go in after Jaina. She pops the Ice Block, buying a lot of time. Noblesse is also pulling back, but dropping really low, and the Force Wall will come out. Kaladia will no pill for the team. There goes the Ancestral Healing, and Jaina seems to be pretty okay as CSC boxing her up, but failing miserably at that. Nova is on the sideline, way too low. In a War of Sustain, well, basically, the army with more supplies will win, and they have a lot of support right there. They will go for the Dragon Knight, and they get it. The final push-up by Exia will actually happen, and we have M just boxing out. Johanna will go down, as well as the Muradin getting chased so hard by the rest of Braveheart.
I mean, you saw it there. There was zero ability for DK to pick up any kills versus Rhaegar and Tassadar, and the Dragon Knight is going to make its way straight to the core by itself. It could easily end this game. It looks like Braveheart has tied things up here. 1-1 versus DK.
Yeah, they have 3 men alive, and it's not possible to stop this Dragon Knight, and it seems like Braveheart is still not knocking on the core just yet. We have Exia pushing back a little bit. The core down to 12%. They're just slowly poking at it, making sure to get a maximum satisfaction, and Braveheart will take game number 2.
You know, maybe that's their thing, Dave. Well, they did that to Templo Storm, just showing their Hall of Storms bounce. We got to coin a name for that, seriously. But, you know, showing with style that they can go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the world. They defeated Templo Storm. They just took a game off DK. We're going to game 3, and this team has only been practicing as 5 for 3 weeks.
This is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't know it's bad. At these points, I'm a fan of Braveheart. That's it. They made me a fan. With how well they've played previously and now against DK, these guys are incredible. They've just playing so well.
They are, and also the fact that I think that they have just adapted very well. They had that game right off the bat. It's a war of sustain, a war of attrition, actually. And if you look at it, Braveheart, they just make sure that as long as they are not caught out of position, they will stay safe and they will be able to win those fights and game eventually.
All right, it's that time again. It's time for Windows 10 game DVR replay over here. I know you look forward to it a lot, Jake. Let's jump into it. So I'm gonna pause right there because everybody remembers this fight, but I wanted to see it again before we're gonna take a look at another fight. So this is the fight that happens at the bottom shrine over here. And you see Rhaegar right there. He was trying to fight the Kel'Thas that's very close to him, and that was very low, but nobody was dying for the longest time. And you could tell that both teams, they were putting their maximum effort into this, in trying to stay alive and kill very low hit points heroes, but in the end, it was just Braveheart that they were just way too solid here to let this slip away. We see Rhaegar struggling a little bit over there, but barely making it out every single time and surviving. And now, the most important fight of the game here, level 22 against 22, there was actually, at this stage in the game, DK, they did something really smart, which sadly for them didn't pay off, but they realized that Tassadar was here. He was at the top shrine, so you can see him on the min-map over there. And it was going to take a very long time to rejoin the rest of his team, so they were like, we're going to engage with a 4-on-5 here at first. But then the Marbat bought enough time here for Braveheart to allow Tassadar to rejoin them and take the fight properly. Noblesse went down in hit points immediately. He was really low. I mean, even healing him at this point for Uther seemed a little bit useless. He just bought him like, what, a few more seconds, and he was forced to pull back anyway. So from there, Braveheart, they just win the fight, they get the Dragon Knight, they push across the map, and they finish the game. A fantastic, I guess, management here of this fight and use of Maw. We see Maw more and more, devouring Maw here from Zagara, coming into play and saving games, saving situations like this, where, again, I really think this was a good move by DK to try and go for the 4-on-5 like this.
I can't argue with that, Todd. I mean, it was a good decision to go for that 4-on-5. But man, that bottom fight where we had Rhaegar, 1 hit from death, like 4 times, and the shields would just come in. Like, no, here's a shield. Here's a shield. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, really fun game to cast.
I'm not sure that Tassadar is this nonchalant when he's screaming the shield, but it's funny actually because we see Rhaegar sometimes come out and be really hit or miss, you know, like not impact the game that well with both his ancestral healings and healings, but it felt like that game, Tassadar was such a great addition. Imagine they're like new best friends and now everybody does Tassadar plus Rhaegar.
Oh,
that'd be crazy. Nobody dies.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the amount of support that they have there. There's nothing that Team DK could have done. And the positioning coming out from Braveheart is just so on point. It's so spread out in that whole duration of almost every single fight.
Well, I feel like we'll probably see DK shift up their draft a little bit for the next game. Really just looked impossible for them to get any kills in game number 2. But of course, we're just going to throw away a very quick commercial break before game number 3. Stay with us.
My son, a terrible darkness has returned to our world. As before, it seeks to annihilate everything that we hold dear. I go to face it, knowing I may not return. They're coming! They're coming back! All my life I have lived by the sword. I've seen kingdoms burn and watched brave heroes die in vain. It's been difficult for me to trust after losing so much. But from you, I have learned patience, tolerance, and faith. Open fire! Anduin, I now believe, as you do, that peace is the noblest aspiration. But to preserve it, you must be willing to fight. For Azeroth!
Welcome back to the Heroes of the Storm World Championship, where we're preparing for our final game of the night between Braveheart and Team DK, where the team that advances here will face off versus Cloud9. My name's Solid Jake, and I'm joined here with Babel and Todd. And guys, what an epic matchup, an epic performance by Braveheart.
Definitely, very epic, but what's more epic is the crowd we have here today. Thank you very much for staying with us all the way to this very last game. It is in fact gonna end here, we promise you. It's a best of 3. It's coming to a conclusion. It will be epic. Will the Koreans or the Chinese go home, Todd?
I'm not sure at this point. I feel like it's anybody's game. They've, both of the previous games, each team has shown good things and won a convincing game, but it all comes down to this one here. And the draft's going to come into play very importantly.
Well, speaking of the draft, we're actually ready to rock and roll for the draft in game number 3. So let's hop on into it. The final game of the night. Here it is. We're going to Sky Temple.
Oh yeah, my favorite battleground. I've said it so many times, I think all of you should know that by now, but Lost Vikings getting banned out immediately. Look at that. that this is thinking in advance. I'd like to point out again that Team DK, for the third game in a row, has gone for the map pick instead, which means they will have the second pick going into this. And this could possibly mean a Jaina ban if they don't want to do Jaina on the side of Braveheart, or Braveheart will have the Jaina.
You're on fire, man. You just pick so fast and you drop these knowledge bombs. I love it. Tyrande gets banned by Team DK. They don't want to face the wrath of Tyrande in the hand of those Chinese teams. We've seen that a lot, and she's done pretty well for the most spots. And now we'll have the first few picks here. What are you guys feeling here in terms of composition on Sky Temple? Again, a map where there's going to be a lot of fighting happening for the control of these temples.
Well, you know, Jaina obviously excels in pretty much any battleground in the world.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Sky Temple, heroes like Johanna do have their power, right? You think about heroes that have strong control over the entrance to some of those temples, especially the top and bottom temple. So sometimes we see Malfurion played a little bit more here just because Roots is quite powerful. It does shake things up a little bit more, but you also have to think about heroes like Abathur and their power to split. So, some DK fans in the crowd.
Yeah, awesome. But Jaina will get picked up by Braveheart as usual. This is consistent with the first and second game. Now, Team DK, they went for Uther. It didn't really work out because he was just up against too much support. Here, it will be interesting to see him getting picked up again. I really like the Uther Muradin opener. It's just what is the plan after that?
Are we going to see some melee assassin here maybe coming to play on a map like this? You know, heroes like Kerrigan. Even something like an Illidan, if you hide it properly and don't pick it early, can be very dangerous. But it's so far everything's looking standard here. I mean, with Jaina and Uther being picked up, usually you open with those high-tier heroes in terms of first few picks, just to make sure that you're safe. You don't reveal your plan too early if you want to do something special, just because you don't have to. And Tyrael gets picked up as well. Again, Sky Temple, a map where you're going to be fighting a lot in those tight areas for the temples, and sanctification can greatly come into play.
You know, in previous tournaments, you probably would have said this is almost a guaranteed Muradin pick, right? Go for those three big warriors. But Tyrael, he's been a big part, a big rising hero in this event, and especially against Jaina. You think about Blizzard, you think about Ring of Frost, he can negate all of that damage, which can really swing the fight in your favor.
Yeah, Tyrael was banned in game number 2. First banned, by the way, by Braveheart, but now it goes to Team DK. Uther Tyrael is really good, but will we see a Muradin going towards Braveheart? And yes, it is going to be the Muradin. No surprises there. Tyrande getting banned is only because they wanted to go for the Tyrael instead. They want to make sure that even if they do give up the Muradin, they don't give them the Muradin Tyrande combo.
Yeah, Tyrael is actually like, it's just good as a whole. He can go forward and attack very quickly. Sanctification is obviously very helpful, and something that also comes into play greatly, even on this, in particular on this kind of map, is Holy Ground on level 16, which can isolate a few heroes away from their team so that they can be taken out very quickly.
All right, Fire and Ice for Braveheart. DK will ban Sonya. Braveheart will likely ban Abathur. Just deny that global presence, because if they do not, it is almost guaranteed that DK would go for it. No, Illidan.
Yeah, well, it's one half of the combo anyway. Abathur is going to be so good in this battleground. I mean, you just soak the lane so well, but if you really want to play Abathur without Illidan, it is going to be interesting to see how that's going to work out.
And with Uther already being selected by DK earlier in the draft, I think they were worried about, obviously, an Abathur and Illidan combo, which again on this map can be great. Arthas comes out again here to try and help Tyrael do some proper tanking in the front line.
Let's rewind to opening week, where Na'Vi played against DK. In game number 3 in Haunted Mines, Na'Vi was running Tyrael and Arthas, and they actually landed a Sanctification with Sindragosa versus DK, picking them apart.
Craig,
this is them literally saying, you know what, we played against this, it was insane, let's steal it.
I want to see a Kerrigan here, but no, it's going to be Sylvanas. This is more control, which is going to be really good. Also, Sylvanas works so well in this battleground. It's a structural, it's a numbers game. You want to make sure that you go into those lanes, take down the structures, the temples will do the rest easily.
So who do they close it out with then? Already having some great engage in Tyrael and Arthas. If they were to go here, Team DK later on, for Sindragosa, well, I guess we'll find out after the next 2 picks here from Team Braveheart, who've got 2 damage dealer here right now and a warrior. They're going to need a healer here no matter what. Do we see Brightwing come out on this map again, which did pretty well last time I was selected? Nope, it's Kharazim!
Yeah. I was about to say Kharazim would be really good in this battleground because, well, there's just so much extra heals that he can provide. In the back line and the front line, he's one of the most mobile, healer that this game has to offer. The last pick here will actually be a Stitches! We're going to have a reverse row coming in here for Braveheart!
This is
Stitches want to play again.
This is the most meta match we've seen all day. Last pick, Stitch is saying, you know what? If you can do it, we can do it better. And this is going to be a rather interesting pickup. I mean, the power of him on Sky Temple, he can hook you into or away from those temples in a lot of big places. You think about the bottom temple alone, Hook is quite volatile.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that Stitches is not being a solo warrior here. Against, like, you know, you have a Muradin for the front line as well, so that's is really awesome. They also have a very good damage-oriented backline, Jaina, KT, and Karazin.
Absolutely. Usually, ideally, when you have Stitches, you want to go for a hook and then have somebody behind you that can stun whoever you hook and take him down very quickly. There's Kael'thas and Muradin. This is ideal. If Stitches lands a few good hooks on anybody, that hero is going to blow up pretty much instantly.
Okay.
Well, one final pick, and it's going to be Vala. So this is a rare situation where we do not see Abathur on Sky Temple. He's so highly prioritized in all regions, generally here in this game. But Vala, I mean, that's just so much damage for their team. They've got the double Bowman in the back. Quite an interesting draft, guys.
It is. It's also very nicely spread out damage. If you look at it, you have Sylvanas as well as Vala doing sufficient damage in the back line. Very spread out, AoE based against the likes of Burst Potential Jaina and Kael'thas with those Chain Bomb. I definitely favor Braveheart's composition a little bit better, but it's going to be up to SCSC's Arthas.
In the first two games, actually, it really felt like whoever gained an early lead never really let go of it and kept on capitalizing on mistakes of the opponents, which again is definitely easier to do when you're ahead. So it's going to be very important on a map like Sky Temple not to fall behind here for both teams, because whoever does, they're going to be in lots of trouble.
All right, well, we want to know what you guys think of this game number 3. Head on over to Twitter, tweet at Esports Heroes, and use the hashtag HeroesWC along with the hashtag for the team that you think will advance. But we're ready to go for the final game of the night. China versus Korea, DK versus Braveheart, and we're hopping on into it at Sky Temple.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see some laser beams, Jay.
Laser beams indeed on the blue side. It is Braveheart with Bao on Jaina, Exia playing Kael'thas. Gemini will be on Karazin, Karadiar gonna be on Muradin. And M will be playing Stitches, the Hookmaster himself. Over on the red side, it's Team DK. It's gonna be crazy moving. Playing Vala, Jaehoon, gonna be on Uther, Noblesse, playing Tyrael, SCSC on Arthas, and Sniper playing Sylvanas. This is it. One team will fall, one team will advance to play against Cloud9.
It's also a very interesting game to see because both sides, they have the same type of composition. You have 2 range damage dealers, you also have 2 frontline warriors, and 1 support. This is not like the obscene amount of support we saw in game number 2 from Braveheart, so it seems to be pretty fair so far, and execution-wise, it's going to be pretty even. Now, Jake, which composition do you favor?
You know, it's hard to say, but I'm just going to root for Stitches. I mean, I think both teams are actually drafted rather evenly. We've seen ridiculous power with Sanctification. When you're going against Kael'thas Jaina, you can negate almost all of their damage. So it's a lot. There's a lot of pressure on Tyrael landing those big Sanctifications. I think they have more than enough power to blow them up. And especially against the lone Karazin, a Wailing Arrow can change fights.
It's always going to be down to the hook in this kind of situation because that is the X factor that Braveheart has that Team DK does not. And that is the positional advantage that Braveheart will go and pursue in this particular game. And meanwhile, on the other side here for Team DK, you're looking at a really awesome amount of range damage in the form of just spread out damage. We have Arthas in the front line zoning on the enemy, and Tyrael going with the Sanctification. It is going to make sure that the whole team can act like a spear and go to the back line easily. Meanwhile, some blows being traded here, but not real damage being dealt.
Okay, well, the Shrines will be spawning middle and top for the first, as always. And we will generally see this be split up evenly. Bottom lane, 1v1, Arthas v Stitches. The Warriors will make sure they stay down here to maintain that soak, and the Shrines are currently being split up.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that Arthas definitely will win the lane against Stitches, and on the flip side, Jaina will win the lane pretty easily from the mid side. Temple's just spawning already, and you can see some of the charges firing up on both sides. We have Team DK going for the top temple instead of the mid temple. The mid temple is kind of a little bit more important because you really want to rotate the lanes easily and have the healing while in the mid lane. It's just so important. Meanwhile, some stuns going down, and Arthas dropping a lot of HP. Here comes the flank, and we have SCSC in a lot of trouble. The heals go out, but SCSC is still alive somehow. Will finally finally go down. Nobody's won't be traded, in fact. And Gemini running away so close with a sliver of HP, and the Haunting Whip does not connect.
What a beautiful start to this game by Braveheart, getting 2 kills and stepping back on into Val, and Venom goes out on Val, taking a lot. The heals from Uther, not enough. Sniper will fall 3 for nothing.
So far, Jaehyun the next target, and Uther goes down. They are going ham and crazy moving forward. Some extra damage onto Gemini, but it's not enough. Kadia will also be okay. They will get the mid temple, but they lose the EXP.
Full level advantage, or near a level advantage for Braveheart. I mean, we can't talk about this story enough. They're a team that has only been together as 5 for a few weeks, and here they are defeating the Korean champions. They defeated Tempostorm, the longest standing team in the entire world. Absolutely insane.
This is not just a team. This is just power range right here. You can just put the best parts together, and they just behave so well. Look at Nobilis pulling back. Kadia in a little bit of trouble. Sniper landing some extra damage there with a Withering Fire, but will not be enough for a kill just yet. SCSC desperately holding on to the ground here for the top temple. Nobilis swings by, and a bit of a pullback from Braveheart. There goes the extra lockdown. Bao in a lot of trouble. Bao, the Jaina, some heals from Gemini, and he is still alive. The crazy movement goes in and won't pick up the kill. We still see the rest of Braveheart in the vicinity, but the damage has been done, and they will get a temple, and the hook again, crazy moving, gets hooked all the way back. SCSC pulling back. Sniper is not able to save the teammate.
I love hooks, Babel. That was beautiful. I mean, just pulling him in and instantly deleting him from the battle, but still got to give props for the flank there by Crazy moving. Although he lost his life, it still picked up a kill for the team, and they're really not that far behind in XP.
So instead of 4-1 in terms of kill, we now have 5-2, not really very far away. In terms of EXP, Team DK also nicely caught up a little bit. They will just hit level 7 right now and get some extra talent, and this also means that it's still a very fair and even game.
Yeah, I mean, quite close for both sides. It definitely hasn't spelt the story quite yet, but there's a lot of timings that can happen if you do manage to get the heroics even a half level ahead. You can look to bully the first portion of the temple, and the second temple isn't that far off.
It isn't, and you could see that the Bruiser Cam already being picked up here by Braveheart. Team DK still has not opted for that strategy yet. They will in fact go with a bottom lane Siege Giant push, and Braveheart also picking up their own Siege Giant here, and just making sure that they apply sufficient pressure. You don't want to lose the structure so early on, because the Temple will fire direct charges in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and it's actually a very early bruiser pickup here in the top lane, because oftentimes you'll see the team stall those out, stall picking up their bruisers before the second temple phase, because it's going to be just a single temple in the bottom of the map. So by having a split aggression with bruisers in the top portion of your game, it's actually quite beneficial.
It is, and Bao now knocking on the healing ball in the mid lane. Seems like he's able to pick that one up, and the rest of the team just applying some pressure here. Temple finally spawning, and no Bruiser Cam strategy for Team DK. This is refreshing.
Yeah, they're realizing that they're not really in a position where they can, if they go up there to try to take the bruisers, they're sacrificing their position here in the bottom. And we would see Braveheart push on into that bottom fort, doing some damage to the structures.
I have to say, good work by Arthas actually clearing the Bruiser Cam on the side here against the blue team. Braveheart. Braveheart now rotating down to the bottom lane, already in this position, so close to level 10. Am soaking the lane EXP on top, and the rest of Team DK going down south. Yeah,
they have to back up. Braveheart does not have Stitches or Kill Foul, but somehow they're turning around and SCSC and he's the one that goes down 3v5. They pick up the kill.
Wow, this is really just a burst from Bao as well as Gemini. You know, Karazim just goes into so much damage. The rest of Team DK pulls back. Braveheart is level 10, perfectly done. And it seems like Team DK, they're struggling. They will not have the advantage in this early game.
Certainly not. Not with plays like that. If you step forward in a 3v5 situation and don't manage to capitalize and get picked off like that, it's really going to work against you. But that's the power of this team. If you're able to lock them down, one stun could lock you out in a heartbeat.
We know that the Korean team came to this competition thinking that, well, there is not really any competition. They got the Rude Awakening from Team Na'Vi in the opening week, and right now they're facing up against a team that played for 3 weeks, and they are struggling. This is gonna be hard for them.
It's gonna be tough, but let's talk about the heroics very quickly. We do see Water Elemental, Putrid Bile, Avatar, Phoenix, and then Divine Palm on the blue side. Braveheart But on the red side, they're holding that TRL heroic. We've got Strafe, Divine Shield, Army of the Dead, and Wailing Arrows, and it is in fact Sanctification. So this is we've got a ton of survivability to sustain through the damage style comp.
We'll see how Braveheart rotates and make sure that the backline stays safe right here, because as long as they bait out the Sanctification, as long as they play around the Divine Shield, they still have a lot of burst potential in their Jaina as well as the Kel'Thas. Don't forget that the Stitcher's Hook will be a big factor here. As long as it connects beautifully on one target and the Divine Shield comes back out, they will still be able to win that fight without having to deal with the Divine Shield in the danger fight.
All right,
SCSC.
Yeah, that's a good target to have hooked. It's never good to get hooked, but if you're going to get hooked, be a ward. That's optimal.
It's optimal, it is. And also, he does have Army of the Dead, so that's not easy to take down the Arthas. SCSC will offer the Siege Giants right here with the rest of his team. And in terms of pushing wise, we still see the lanes very much even. The top 4 will go down because remember, Team DK went for the top temple in the early phase. But the difference here is that we don't have Braveheart pushing down the mid lane with those first few charges that they have in the mid temple.
Yeah, I mean, right now, even though they're down 6-2 in terms of kills, they're really not that far behind. Less than half a level down on the side of DK. Just great crisis control in the mid game. And now we have 2 temples spawning mid and bottom. Likely we'll see everyone make their way to the bottom part of the battleground just because of the added bonus that you could try to sneak out a boss if you're down in the bottom lane.
Wow, Sanctification popped already. Tyrael buying some time. The allies coming from behind. Gemini gonna rejoin with the rest of the team. And Tyrael pulling back again. We have Arthas soaking up the mid temple and the rest of Braveheart going down to the bottom temple here. They will trade temples efficiently.
I mean, realizing the boss no longer a threat, they spent Sanctification. They don't really want to team fight without Sanct if they don't have to. So controlling mid-temple is really a great choice by them, and they're going to even things out. Level 13 hit, even talent footage for the teams. They could fight if they had to.
Braveheart now knowing without Sanctification, they can take a fight right here. SCSC doing a lot of AoE damage. And nearly connecting hook on Sniper. The Sylvanas meanwhile and pulling back again. Butcherball coming out already. There goes the Divine Shield. And the Phase Rush will happen. A 3-man silent. And the backline is in a lot of trouble. We see some heals from the Divine Pump, but it may not be enough. And Kalia seems like he's going down. And he goes down 3-for-0 exchange.
What a flawless Wailing Arrow. 3 targets. They're going to pick up most of the ammunition. About a 4th left there on the mid-temple. And go straight for the boss. The fact that they're not controlling any temples right now should be a big sign. They're picking up the boss, but there's nothing that Braveheart can do.
Yeah, they just lost whatever advantage that they had in the early game with that fight right there. And it seems like Team DK, they have the composition for a level 10 fight. They were not able to play around the Divine Shield. They went in, they directly addressed the Jaina, and that is the majority of the damage from Braveheart at this stage.
Just beautiful team fight here from both teams so far. It shows how much one fight can swing the game. DK taking the lead, almost a full level now, and as the bottom fort goes down, this is just the backline fortifications remaining for Braveheart, and they have a boss to defend.
They are in a lot of trouble. Things don't look good for Braveheart right now. Structurally wise, they're losing the bottom lane in just a quick heartbeat here. And we still have the boss plowing down the lane, the temple behind providing some extra damage there. It seems like you're also going to lose the healing well in the bottom lane, Jake.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage to take back quickly in, and now they're down about just over a level and a half actually, as we see that full wave of minions go down, and of course the tower. So this is now a big situation where DK can bully as much as they like. Level 16 about to be theirs, and they can look to take advantage of this window.
Kalia splitting from the rest of the team right now, dropping a lot of HP and will go down. It's a simple pickup, but it looks like Braveheart is struggling to get those EXP back up even, and the equalizer is not found yet.
I mean, picking up a kill, stealing some mercenaries, and then pushing down this bottom lane, even just gently, right? They have Sylvanas, she can turn off the charge. Just a nice, gentle push in this bottom lane, but no, you don't want to get hooked like that!
And Jaehyun goes down quickly. We still have 4-man aggression on this keep at the bottom lane. There's not a real fight just yet because they are not level 16. The rest of them pulling back, they will get the keep. And it seems like Braveheart's looking for a hook. It will not connect.
If I could sell my Uther for 30 seconds to kill a keep, I think I would do it every single time. So, I mean, well done here by DK. They're sitting up still that full level, and that's permanent catapults in the bottom lane.
It is, and this is going to be pretty tricky. If you look at this battleground, we talked about structures, Jake. you don't really have to push the lane to win this one. Just go for the objective. It's going to do enough damage to the structures, and eventually you're going to reach the core. If you look at Team DK, they have not lost a single fort yet. Meanwhile, on the side of Braveheart, all forts are down and one keep at the bottom lane is gone already. So even if the level is not that far away, Team DK is further ahead in this game than you actually know.
But we've seen them in positions like this versus Na'Vi, and Na'Vi fought back. So Braveheart, they've shown us their true power in this tournament. Things are far from over.
Definitely. We still have Templar spawning right now, both on top and at the bottom lane. The rest of Braveheart just applying some form of pressure. They want to get a 16, they finally get it, and it's going to be a bit of Arcane Barrier on Kel'Thas. They know that the backline is in a lot of trouble with this phase rush composition from Team DK with the Sanctification, which is why you see Avanti's block as well as the Arcane Barrier. And the hook all the way, that is an insane range. Novelist will pop the Sanctification, and he stays alive somehow. We see the Phoenix coming back out. The disengage call being called out already. But Karia buying more time in front as CSC lets the Howling Blast. We still don't see Braveheart going in for a takedown yet, and the hook will not connect, unfortunately there. If it did, it will be epic.
Fishing hook in general, 16-second cooldown. So it's a long time in between each hook, but seriously, that's how powerful Stitches can be on this battleground. But what a beautiful Sanctification there, keeping himself alive and just clutching that out at the last moment.
Todd spoke about the locked up potential from Braveheart. It just didn't work out in that instance there. Well, it was not properly timed. I think it was just a second off. If not, it would have definitely been a kill on the Tyrael. And we also see that Team DK is rotating down. They don't have the Sanctification, but Muradin does not have Avatar as well, so he will not go ham directly. And we have Crazy moving, getting railed back out. Muradin with the soft toss back out. We also see Pau with a bit of a flank on the Jaina. Noblest blocks him back, and the retreat out in a lot of trouble. There goes the Ice Block. I don't think they can save this Jaina. Jaina is as good as dead, and there goes the Divine Pau. Buying more time. Will they better profit? It will! And Jaina comes back as good as new, but they will still burst that Pau, and Pau is gone.
Sniper barely slipping away. SCSC a little bit too far forward. They're trying to trade the Sanctification, having a huge impact once again, and they're turning this around. We do see DK just pushing it and will end up falling here. Beautiful team fight.
Gemini, nice Radiant Dash right there, saving himself, but 2-for-0 exchange, and Team DK securing the bottom temple. They were struggling in the early game, but they clearly have a plan right now.
Man, I mean, this is a back and forth game, Babel. I don't remember the last time I saw just so many big plays being made. Close calls, and we saw the Divine Palm there. The Sanctification, saving lives, keeping these fights going much longer than it initially seems like it will.
Yeah, and we also have Novelist here, just boxing out Braveheart. The rest of them are not in the vicinity. Sniper just swung by, as well as Jaehyun in the backline. But they don't have the full team for Braveheart. They have to take it a little bit slower. I wonder how long more can they take this punishment. Team DK almost hitting the level 20. Braveheart, they need 3 more levels to make sure that they are even telling you. And even then, they still have to address the forts. They are all still standing.
Okay, DK has no idea the boss is being done, but 4 out of 5 are here right next door. And if they're not careful, this could be a very scary situation, but they're not even going to check.
They're not, and it seems like Braveheart's going to get this one pretty easily. It's a 5-man area. SCSC finally spots this one out. Gravity Labs not connecting. SCSC buying enough time. Tyrael finally trying to ride back down here, but he is all the way on top. There goes the Whirling Arrow. They have enough damage. Kalia in a lot of trouble. Jaina goes down, and now pulling back. Howling Blast will not connect, and the boss goes to Team DK. Novelist finally swings by. Sniper looking for more damage, and will go down. Muradin, that's not your home, boy. You want to run in the wrong direction? Fine. But we got Gemini dropping even more HP, and he joins Muradin, attacking the enemy base somehow. We have Team DK going all the way to the core already. The boss plowing down the bottom lane. We have Muradin popping back home with the Hearthstone. Noblest now doing the belly rub on that extra shield right there. Team DK, they don't care. They want to make sure they win this game.
I love the return BM. They're like, you know what, you're going to BM us in game 2. We're going to BM you right back. But did they overcommit in doing so? They're taking a fair amount of damage. The core is going rapidly. Now they've got this. DK will advance to face Cloud9 in the semifinals.
And the winner of this game is Team DK!
What a game. Back and forth. These two teams were duking it out. DK prevails in game number 3 with just phenomenal play. and they will get the chance to face America's finest, the champions of America, Cloud9, in the semifinals.
Yeah, it is going to be really exciting to see how DK is going to face up against Cloud9. It is NA versus Korea. The last time this happened was in the first global tournament in which Templestorm represented NA. They were taken down by MVB Black. But right here, this looks like it will be a very interesting matchup.
What a crazy game here. DK, they fell behind early on. There were quite a few takedowns behind. Earlier level 10 was achieved by their Chinese opponents here in Braveheart. But then they turned things around. They really started gaining some good momentum in some of these fights and did very well for themselves. There is two moments in particular that I'm going to want to take a look at here. So let's not wait any longer. Let's jump into our Windows 10 game DVR replay here. The first of these fights, I'm going to pause right there, takes place at about the 14th minute mark here. It's level 18 against 16. And I thought that Braveheart, they got a great engagement because right there we saw Vala getting caught and Divine Shield was popped pretty much instantly on her. So that was a big waste in here. It felt like she had to pull back and she just wasn't in great shape. But behind this, we see SE at the, I guess, the back line here of Braveheart, zoning everybody nicely. Jaina found herself a little bit too far out here and couldn't escape behind this, so she's gonna go down as well. And behind this, it's the beginning of the end. Even Sniper, being able to make it out after this with very few hit points. You see, right there, he had no hit points left. So even though the Divine Pawn here hit properly, that was a fight loss here for Braveheart, which cost them dearly. Trying to retreat with the Stitches can be tricky, you know, bikini and each gear or not. That's not going to help you at all, you know, that's not going to intimidate anybody. So they get chased down, and then here, Braveheart knew they were behind. They try for a ball move, they try for a boss to try and get some damage done themselves, but at this point, DK, they're just too smart to fall for this. They go across the map, they steal that boss, they land the perfect winning arrow as well, they kill everybody, and then they end the game just right behind it. So fantastic performance here out of DK, and I think they showed a lot of emotions here at the end. I think they realized how far behind they were in the start and that they were almost eliminated there. Again, that was a very close game.
Yeah, they turned it up. They really did. But man, that last fight was so devastating. A 4v5 stacked up, but Arthas right on the point, Army of the Dead, Divine Shield, and then the Wailing Arrow. Disgusting play. The dream.
Yeah, and also don't forget Tyrael was, you know, riding that pony all the way from the top, taking his own sweet time. He wasn't really needed anyway, but he came by and picked up Stitches at the end. It was a really perfect play on the side for Team DK. Execution-wise, it was perfect. We thought that they didn't know the boss was being attempted, but somehow they just had that sixth sense, the slightest sense tingling in the background.
DK pulled through, but maybe they're not quite the favorite they thought they were before going into this tournament, because they almost went 1 victory and 2 losses here in terms of series. And next in semifinals, they will go up against Cloud9, who showed that they are really strong.
And Cloud9 has had the opportunity to study their games today, study some of their composition, so that's a nice advantage in their favor, because the fact that they stayed in the winner's bracket going into the top 4 gave them a full day of rest. But speaking of brackets, let's take a look at them here. Now, over in Group A, we saw Cloud9 again advance in opening week, and Team Dignitas will be advancing to the semifinals themselves. In Group B, we have quite a different setup here. We have, of course, Na'Vi, who advanced in opening week, and DK just advanced over Braveheart. But those teams won't be facing each other. They actually will then swap sides. So it'll be Na'Vi versus Dignitas in EU versus EU semifinal, where one team will be, I mean, we're gonna have European finals no matter what. Todd, you gotta be pumped about that.
Oh yeah, man, it's great to have a European representation like this with Na'Vi and Dignitas doing so well, and I'm so glad that we're gonna have at least one of them in finals. Even though they have to kill each other, that's a little bit sad, but I guess was unavoidable because Dignitas only took second in their group.
And of course, the other semifinal was Templestorm versus DK. That will be our 2 first matches tomorrow. So let's take a look at the schedule to iron all that out for you. So starting off the day, Na'Vi versus Dignitas, EU versus EU, and after that, C9 versus DK. Babel, which one is more hype?
I would say for sure I want to see Cloud9 versus Team DK, because that is the match. This is the revenge match for all of North America. And this is something that I think everyone has been waiting for. On the other hand, it seems like Team Dignitas, they suffered a really embarrassing loss in the European finals against Na'Vi. And the better European team will be decided once and for all.
tonight. We're reclaiming our land. I almost feel like this is the legacy of the Void Trader here again. Cloud9 going to be trying to take revenge for all the losses that North America has suffered against Korea. And Tempo Storm were very close to doing it, so why not Cloud9? I mean, they've shown that they can be better than Tempo Storm.
Well, they were the America's champions. All of that will be tomorrow. But before you leave tonight, we have a very special interview with Anna. Anna, take it away.
Thank you so much, guys. I am indeed here with Jaehoon. Now, that last few moments, when we got to see all of your faces as you discovered that Braveheart was there taking that boss, we saw these huge smiles. Can you give us some insight into that moment, how it was from your perspective?
마지막 그 우두머리 경기에서 브레이브하트가 우두머리를 잡고 있는데 그걸 가져오셨잖아요. 그거 진행할 때 굉장히 다들 웃고 있었는데 그때 어떠셨는지 말씀해 주세요.
그때 우드를 치고 있는 걸 봐서 이렇게 아서스가 들어가고 그리고 실바나스가 궁극기를 5명 거의 다 맞췄잖아요. 그래서 이겨서 그냥 다 기뻐서 웃었어요.
Yeah, in the last boss fight, they knew they were there, and SCSC joined the fight, started the fight with the in the beginning, and Sylvana CC'd all 5 of them correctly, so that was really well done. So they were all smiling.
It was fantastic and well played, and actually we got to see Stitches played for the first time in this series. Can you tell us a little bit about how you use Stitches and some tips maybe we can use at home?
이번 경기에서 누더기를 저희가 처음 쓰는 걸 봤는데 잘 쓸 수 있는 팁을 주실 수 있을까요? 어떻게 써야 하는지?
잘 쓸 수 있는 팁은 일단 손이 중요하고요. 큐 맞추는 게 중요하니까. 그리고 시몬이 호응할 수 있는 스킬이 있어야 돼요. 뭐 켈타스나 제이나 뭐 우서 이렇게.
First of all, it's up to your hand skills, and second of all, it's about how it is cooperated with the other team members like Keltis.
Well, these are both things that we will have to practice to be as good at it as Team DK, of course. Tomorrow, we get to watch Team DK take on Cloud9 in the semifinals. Jaehoon, how confident do you feel against Cloud9?
내일 4강전에서는 C9이랑 클라우드9이랑 이제 붙게 되는데 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하고 얼마나 자신감이 있나요?
일단 저희 팀이 패자조에 온 이상 절대 지지 않거든요. 그래서 뭐 가뿐하게 이길 것 같아요.
Team DK has a history of being in the losers final and advancing to the finals. So I mean losers bracket and then advancing to the finals. So they believe they are confident about tomorrow's match.
Well, that sounds great. I cannot wait to watch. Again, congratulations. Thank you guys so much. Let's hear it one more time for Team DK. Those of you who are still here, and please go ahead and go back and join your team. Get some rest. Thank you. Guys, that is our show for today. That was the Heroes of the Storm World Championship 2015, but it continues tomorrow right here on this stage at the Anaheim Convention Center as we enter the semifinals and move into the grand finals. And then, of course, we will crown the team that will claim the title of the 2015 BlizzCon Heroes of the Storm World Champions. I can't wait. Thank you so much to all of you who stayed well into the night. I appreciate you being here. And those of you watching at home, it's been a pleasure spending today with you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Good night for now.